It's time to add some spice to your nooner. Nooner funny. This is the place where big-time guests, bold opinions, and little cute doggies come together. This is Rothman and Ice.
Sponsored by Pella Columbus, the #1 rated windows and doors in Columbus.
All righty, welcome back. Appreciate you joining us, Rothman and Ice. Here on a rando Tuesday. Anthony Rothman, Matty Ice Hayes, CB. Fellas, how we feeling?
It's Prime Day, baby. I'm feeling good. You got to get on over to Amazon and get all the deals they got cooking up. So that has me feeling good.
What are you going to buy, big fella?
You know what? I need some home decor.
Cleaning supplies?
No, I got plenty of that pine saw. I got plenty of that pine saw at the crib already, but I was thinking about, dressing up the crib a little bit, seeing if they got any deals over at Amazon when we talk a little home decor. So I know a lot of people like to get into the electronics and all of those things, but I need to spice the crib up a little bit before we get to football season and just reset the vibe inside my four walls. So that's what I'm going to be looking for. And, Megan Thee Stallion's been doing all the It's Prime Day commercials. They've been everywhere. So she has me excited, and I'm here with you for another 3 hours and our wonderful listeners. So how could I be complaining about anything?
One of the neat things I've seen, and I don't think you would do this, maybe you would, is there was a floor mural. You ever heard of this?
No, this is new to me.
I don't know that much about them. And I saw this living room, and they sell this on Amazon, and it's not expensive. It's probably $40. And it's a 3D, like, water, waves, beach, ocean, floor. I don't know.
Is it like a mat?
It almost looks like a carpet in a way.
Okay.
But I assume it's a tile, and it makes it look like you're walking into the ocean.
I'm not mad at that. I don't know if I'd want to look at that every single day. You got to pull it up over
Yeah,
here?
I do. I know this is horrible for radio, but we'll try to. That. No, I can't do that. Is it amazing, though? Can you at least admit that it's cool?
Does it flow, though? Is it like a live video?
Oh, it flows, baby. How about we put it in the bathroom?
That feels more appropriate to me. I don't know if when I'm sitting there on the couch watching TV.
What about when you're sitting on the can?
That I want.
And your feet are like playing in the sand.
That makes me feel a little bit better. But I don't know if I'm putting that in my cart tonight when I get out of here.
I'll tell you what, just take a look.
Prime Day.
Just take a little glance Armstrong at it.
Yeah.
These are like these floor painting murals. I don't know if they're stickers or like a fathead version for the floor. I have no clue.
Fathead
it can't be that great because it's so cheap.
Yeah. Do we need to pour one out for fatheads? Is that over?
I don't know.
Officially?
I mean, I don't know. I haven't inspected all the bedrooms of people.
I'm just asking. I mean,
there
they
might
used
be
to have
some up there somewhere.
They used to have commercials all over the place. It seemed like they reached a nice peak, right? And they had a nice
Is that
audience.
Dan Gilbert's business?
That sounds correct. That sounds right. But it did seem like for a while, kids were pretty interested in the old fatheads. And I just wonder if they're still rocking and rolling or if we got to pour one out for them.
Listen, I grew up in the poster era, obviously.
Yeah.
The thumbtacks into the wall kind of era. Maybe a little bit of Scotch tape if that worked. Although I told you, two things that I'm going to fault my nephew on, and not much because he's a great kid, is that the one part was the wearing of the Masters quarter zip out to the birthday dinner, knowing full well something was going to splatter on that thing.
He was trying to flex on him.
And then number two, he did buy a Masters flag, brought it back to his place in the city. I was there. I saw it. And the thumbtack was through the flag part.
And not the hole?
Maybe not the hole and just let it dangle on an angle.
That's tough. That is tough.
The angle of the dangle.
And number three.
Go ahead.
and number three, I'm going to add to that, he still hasn't gotten me my PS5. I was willing to meet him in a dark alley with some of the mobsters that he works with.
International waters. You go out there, you'll see a fishing boat come by. Fire up a flare.
They'll put up a bag over my head.
It'd be in a barrel of squid.
They'll put a bag over my head and take me to an undisclosed location.
Right. But check out those little floor murals. Here's the deal. If I knew you were going to do this, I would get it for you.
I don't know if I need that. I don't know if I need that.
See if that puts it over the top. Knowing that you wouldn't have to pay for it. I doubt it will.
You know what I like to say sometimes? If it's free, it's me.
And here's the other thing you got to remember. Just because it costs more doesn't make it better.
Very true.
In this world.
Very true.
All right, so we got that.
Someone once told me, all money is not good money.
Yeah.
And I think that can, lay out.
The accidents of the possible is the future of the probable. Who said that, Einstein or me? One of the two. All right, so let me talk to you about the home run derby. I lost because Pete Alonso absolutely choked. I couldn't believe. Now, I'm not saying that to be horribly mean, but he was the odds-on favorite to win and to not even make the semis and to just completely just lay an egg in that thing was very shocking.
So what
you're
telling me is the polar bear was ice cold last night. The polar bear was ice cold in Texas. I got to be honest. I was torn between a couple things last night.
You didn't watch it.
I didn't do either one of them.
I think
I didn't go to Monday Night Raw I didn't watch the Home Run Derby. I did give away my ticket to Monday Night Raw to one of the homies, and he was trying to pay me for it. And I'm like, no, man, you're not paying me.
No one's using it.
That's what I'm like. You go ahead and enjoy your time there. I don't need that. And then I found myself in a very odd spot when I knew the Home Run Derby was on. I was like, you know what? I'm good. And here's why. Of the two events that take place during the All-Star break for Major League Baseball, I am much more excited about the actual game than I am Home Run Derby. Because to me, the game that will happen tonight is the best All-Star game in all of sports because of the competition level. It feels the exact same to me as a regular game. And when we watch the NBA, they don't really care until like the last 5 minutes of the fourth quarter. The Pro Bowl is an absolute joke. You'd have to give me some insight on what the NHL vibe is like for their All-Star game. But tonight, when we watch these baseball players play in the All-Star game, you're not going to watch pitchers that throw usually 95, throwing 80. Like, it's going to be one inning for those guys, and it's going to be pedal to the metal. And that's why I'm much more excited about the game tonight than I was last night about the Home Run Derby. So how did it go? Outside of you being upset at
here's the
Pete
deal.
Alonso.
A couple things. One, the payoff was really good because the final round was great.
Okay.
All right. Between Teoscar Hernandez and Bobby Witt Jr. So that actually paid off. The fact that it ended right before 11 o'clock, I think, is a little too late for something like that.
I agree.
I think that doesn't need to drag that long.
I thought they were speeding it up.
With the clock and the whole deal, but then there's no clock for the bonus round. If you hit it 425, you get the bonus out and all that. Then you can take as many pitches as you want.
There's Mel Kiper. Yeah. He just popped up right there. That was
a great final. Witt Jr. last out, rocks one to get the bonus out. Needs one swing. It was a bad pitch. Swung at a bad pitch.
I love when you do that.
Here's the deal.
Yeah.
Bobby Witt Jr. smoked one to the wall that would have tied it in the final and sent us into a swing off.
Okay.
And he lost to Teoscar by 1. The good news for people that bet, and if you wanted to grab, because remember, the field's not that big, so you could have nailed one. Teoscar Hernandez was 11-1 to win it all, and he did. Bobby Witt Jr. was 475. The highlight, and I don't really know. First of all, Eduardo Perez, he's on it with Ravitch, and who else was Sean Casey? Maybe
that's the ESPN crew.
They were doing it.
Okay,
they have to get either a better site to know the trajectory. They had a little trajectory dysfunction, like trajectile dysfunction. I think I should say.
Careful there.
Every time the ball was hit, it was, that's gone. And it was landing in short center. Or that's got to get up. And it's into the middle. Like, they just didn't have
tough, huh?
Yeah, it was a tough line.
Tough night for them.
But, and unfortunately, we have to play this because I lived it, and I lived it live. And we've lived through a lot of people trying to sing the anthem. And believe me, if you sign up for it, you better be able to get it. I don't know what's worse, sounding bad or getting the words wrong.
Oh.
I don't know which one. Now, she didn't get the words wrong. So give her some points on that.
Okay, that's good.
It wasn't, Enrico Palazzo, a bunch of bombs in the air. This is a country singer who is a 4 or 5 time Grammy nominee. And what we've done with the anthem, I think, is we've taken these singers and they've decided to put their own style and spin
on it.
Yes, it's not just hear my wonderful voice, I'm going to sing the Star Spangled Banner. Yeah. They do it in the way that they normally try to sing. And she started out fine. And as I got to the middle, and I'm kind of multitasking at the time, looking at bets on the laptop and all that, I stopped and I gave it one of those Will Ferrell and old school, like, did I really hear with the Dan band, the whole, that stuff, did I really hear what I think I just heard? And so I had CB pull the middle part, because you need to hear the entire thing, the middle part, and then she tries to rescue it. And if she would have stuck the landing, as a judge here, I might have given her like a 6 point something. I wouldn't have just completely given her a 0.
Okay, let me get a little taste of this.
So we'll start it right at its high point or low point, depending on your perspective.
And the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there.
Well, she rescues it a hair here.
Oh, man, the crowd.
We're bringing it back. Now stick the landing.
For the land of the free and the home of the brave.
God bless her.
I mean,
Ingrid
you talk
Andress.
about secondhand embarrassment. What's her name?
Ingrid Andress.
That's tough. That was
tough.
That was rough, and it kind of reminded me of when Steph, Draymond, and Jimmy Fallon were laughing at Fergie at the NBA All-Star
Let me ask you
game
this.
a few
Did
years
Fergie just
ago.
pass the torch?
I think the one I just heard was probably worse. The beginning of that was cringeworthy for me.
Yeah.
That's a tough look right there. She won't be invited back. But I hope her career takes off in other realms.
Hopefully
of country
she'll
music.
get as much sympathy votes as much as she was getting roasted. That was tough. And I'm listening to that live, and I'm like, let's get this thing going. But it was if that thing would have gone to 11 o'clock and they would have laid an egg in the final, like if Teoscar would have beaten him, if Bobby wouldn't have come back, then I would have said, well, that was a waste. But that's the luck of it. It's sports, it's live, and all that. I do like that we had those guys. And now that I think about it, it was good that Pete didn't win 3 in a row. We had some new blood in there. Jose was really good, got to the semis. And the fact that Jerem got to the semis was big. And I'll tell you, he's got that short, quick stroke, and he was batting, to right field, and he just doesn't have the power, per se, to get that bonus and all that and hit it that far, the exit velo that they were testing they were showing last night. But it had my attention. That's all I can tell you. All right, we got the legend, Phil Steele, coming up bottom of the hour, College Football Insider, publisher of his season preview mag. Can't wait to talk to him. And up next, Maddie, did the Buckeyes take a hit in the depth chart? A lot of news on that this morning. We'll give you the details next. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
We're your radio home for the Buckeyes, Browns, and all the NFL games you can handle. We may have a bit of a football problem. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Dreaming of a wedding band as unique as your love story? Join us at Diamond Cellar's Wedding Weekend, July 26th and 27th. Hi, it's Alex Johnson from the Diamond Cellar. We've been helping you craft your love stories for over 77 years. And for 1 weekend only, we're offering 20% off custom design wedding bands. We guarantee the best price and unparalleled quality. Let our expert jewelers bring your vision to life with a custom creation. The possibilities are endless. Come see us July 26th and 27th at Diamond Cellar on Sawmill Road.
Attention aspiring media stars. Are you ready to take your talent to the next level? Register for your chance to win the Be On Air Summer Slam contest. This is your chance to showcase your skills in a thrilling 30-second live script challenge. Visit now at studiocontest.com to secure your spot and compete for amazing prizes, including a 4-hour studio session, Shure MV7 microphone, and Audio-Technica M20X headphones. Don't miss out on this dynamic event. Be On Air Summer Slam contest, where talent meets opportunity. Visit studiocontest.com and sign up today.
Come play Skyline's 75th Coney Hunt game. Use your phone to search for virtual conies, tap to collect coins, and redeem them for exclusive Skyline merchandise at participating Skyline restaurants for a limited time. Details at skylinechili.com/Coney Hunt.
It's time to start saving with deals for days at Giant Eagle and Market District. From the everyday essentials to your must-have branded favorites, Deals for Days has low prices on more than 1,000 items across the store. Don't delay. These discounted prices on your go-to groceries will only be available for a limited time. Learn more about Deals for Days at gianteagle.com or dive into savings today at your local Giant Eagle or Market District.
Cool savings at Logan AC and Heat Services. Get 0% APR financing for 72 months. It's hard to stop a train with a system for every home and budget. Book your free estimate now. Logan Services.
Most radio stations suck. Here's why. They don't invest in local programming. We're live and local 14 hours a day. You can rest assured that every stupid thing we say is 100% local. Homegrown dumb since day one. The Fan.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your basement and damaging your home. Mold, cracks, and of course visible water are just a few signs your basement is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns. A free home inspection from Ohio Basement Authority. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at ohiobasementauthority.com.
Hey, it's Anthony from my friends at Germain Honda of Dublin. It's time to strike. 0% APR up to 36 months on all new 24 Accords, 25 Civics and Honda Pilots, and CRVs. How about a 24 Passport or a Honda Prelude, even a 24 Ridgeline? Rich is throwing it out at 0% APR up to 36 months. Only from my friends at Germain Honda of Dublin. They're on Sawmill Parkway, just south of 270, with approved credit. See dealer for details.
This radio commercial was made to convince you to stop speeding. We can't use siren sound effects on the radio, so we'll use other equally jarring sound effects to get your attention. Like telling you that whether you drive a little over the speed limit or a lot, you can crash just the same. You could hurt yourself or worse, others.
I'm at the scene of the collision.
And the damage you cause will be beyond repair. See, we didn't have to use crash or siren sounds after all. Speeding catches up with you. Brought to you by NHTSA.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy real estate as is fast for cash. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. I buy vacant properties, inherited homes, divorce situations, death in the family. I even buy my tenants won't pay me the rent houses. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Today, look for partly sunny skies, along with some late-day showers. The high will be 91. Going into tonight, will you drop down to about 71? We'll be looking at mostly cloudy skies overnight. Tomorrow, look for widespread showers and storms with a high of 79. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with your 10 TV weather impact forecast on 97.1 The Fan.
Bet365 is the exclusive online sportsbook of Rothman and Ice. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365.
You're listening to Rothman and Ice.
Sponsored by Pella Columbus, the #1 rated windows and doors in Columbus.
White Ice. We got a prize today.
Yes, sir. We will become kind of Santa Claus-ish today because we got 2 giveaways throughout the show. At 1 o'clock, right around 1, we're going to give away a family 4-pack of tickets to the Cardale Jones charity softball game coming up this Saturday, July 20th at Huntington Park. And then right around 2:45-ish, we will give away a family 4-pack of tickets to Zambezi Bay. So stick with us. It's hot out there. You want to go dip your toes in some water, get in the wave pool, drink a couple cold ones. We'll have that prize ready for you in our last hour today.
Here's the deal. And by the way, two things because you didn't watch the Derby. One, nobody got laced in the outfield. And I noticed that I think the kids now are of a certain age.
Okay, good.
I don't think any little fellows or little girls running around in the outfield.
Thank you.
I do notice that their backs get turned a little bit, and they don't wait quite for the next pitch. But nobody got laced. Nobody has a Rawlings tattoo on their forehead right now.
I'm glad you brought that up. A listener yesterday emailed me. His name is Vince, and he had the idea, and I like this idea. He says, run a contest where every team selects a senior from a local high school team. You get 32 kids out there. You split them into 4 groups. Group A.
Pods.
Group A, Group B, Group C, and Group D. So I'm in on this. I like that. He says problem solved. Thank you, Vince. You're thinking outside of the box.
Well,
I like that.
No injuries, so that's good.
Yeah.
And by the way, for the people that are texting and emailing me about the worst anthems, I get it. I lived through Carl Lewis with the Bulls, and Roseanne Barr with the Reds, and Steven Tyler with the 500. Here's the difference. Those people aren't professional singers. They're supposed to be bad.
Correct.
I wouldn't have hired them anyway unless I gave them a rehearsal. A 5 nominee for a Grammy and Fergie at an NBA All-Star game.
You got to be better than that.
You think you got to be better than that. So I don't think that we can take, yes, was Carl Lewis the worst? Maybe Roseanne Barr would be worse than him. Yes, but that's a mistake on the casting, not on the I don't require those people to be exceptional. All right, so I wanted to get that out of the way. Ohio State, and I didn't want to tease it this way, and we talked about it. I was not going to do this to the Buckeye fan. I was not going to do it, and I didn't do it, Maddie. That's why I said they took a hit to the depth chart. If I would have said before the break, you're not going to believe this, Ohio State just lost a running back for the season, I think that wouldn't have been proper to do that. I'm not that guy. I don't want to deal in that, but teased it properly. They took a hit to the depth chart at the position. If the reports are true, I certainly wasn't there, but we're going to go on the people that are, and we trust them. And T.C. Caffey was expected to be involved. He was the third guy, right? He was a walk-on, I believe, and he would have given them some depth at a position right now where they think they are in really good shape. So are we thinking this is a season? Because this is the second injury he has suffered, right?
Yeah, during his time here at Ohio State. So there's a couple reports out there. I don't think Ohio State has confirmed or denied any of this yet. So we'll wait and see.
They don't usually comment on injuries right now, yeah.
So we'll see if anything comes from their building on this, but this has been out there over the last 24 hours that potentially they could be without T.C. Caffey for this season. And so we know that this is a brutal position. The running back position is rough on a lot of guys. There's not a lot of runway, in your career for some of these guys just because of the amount of hits you take and all the blocking that you have to do and all of those things. So you feel confident if you're a Buckeye fan that what you have up top is absolutely legit with the, bringing in the talent of Quinshon Judkins, adding him to Travion Henderson. That's probably going to be one of the best duos in the sport, if not the best duo in the sport this season. However, when you look at Travion's track record, he has missed games throughout his career. So you never want to lose depth at this early portion of the schedule. Clearly, you never want to lose depth ever. I get that. But when you start talking about bodies not being available before you get into camp, this could be something that shows itself in a negative light when we get deeper down the road. Mm-hmm. So you just hope now that over the next month that you hear some names in Sam Williams-Dixon and James Peoples and some of these other young guys behind the two veterans that are starting to show the coaches that if their number is called, they can step up. So you do feel for Caffey because, as you mentioned, this is the second time, at least just based off this report, we're going to assume the report is true for now, that he's dealt with a pretty significant injury. So a depth hit in July is not what you want, and hopefully, fingers crossed, throughout camp, going to the bottom of August, you don't have too many of these pop up, and hopefully none of them at all moving forward.
So I want, if Bucknuts broke this CB, is that correct? Are they the ones that get the
I believe, Dave Biddle over at Buckeyes.
So we'll have bids in this week as well. So we'll get a little further detail on that. Walk on. You feel horrible, right? And this is big-time sports. I was going to ask you guys, and maybe I even put him higher on the depth chart than I should have. My feeling was that Peoples probably was third. Am I wrong?
Who knows? Who knows, I guess, right now, or who would be third in line. I'm sure we'll start to hear more about that when Coach Day talks about it and Coach Lachlan talks to the media about how things are unfolding. What I find very interesting about this is, does this now kick into gear maybe more quickly the kind of Caleb Downs chatter that was out there, and that being a thing every once in a while? I don't think it's going to be something that they do a bunch. I think the dude can be an All-American safety again this year on the defensive side of the ball, and that's where you want him to pair him with what looks to be a very elite secondary. But that was something that was thrown out there. I'm sure Coach Day will be asked about it again here soon, but that type of athlete, can he help you in spots?
Sure.
Curious to see if that becomes a thing. But I do think between Sam Williams-Dixon and James Peoples, those guys, I think, can contribute at some point in time throughout the year.
They have a preferred walk-on as well. It's just troubling that Caffey, who is one of the best in this state, an Ohio boy who was so good at Hubbard and just a great career. Yeah. And so we'll wish him well. I said this when the Caleb Downs thing came up. It's fun to think about. And you would certainly cheer if it happens. If somehow they gave him the ball or an end around or something funky and got him into the end zone, or there was a little trick play or something, it would be celebrated like no other. It's the ultimate hindsight, right? You can get injured anywhere on a football field. You can get injured playing defense, offense, whatever. What would happen is, and this is human nature, is if you had the best backfield in the country in Travion Henderson and Quinshon Judkins, and then you decided to call Caleb's number on a certain series, and something bad happened, then all of a sudden it's open season on why would you overthink that. And you only say that because I'm just fast forwarding in my mind. Everyone, because I know what happened on the show. Was that necessary? Why did that happen? It didn't need to happen, and all that. So I think that certainly it would be celebrated if he does it and he's successful. But you bring up a good question now that presumably, their third or 3A is injured now and presumably out for the year. We'll take a break. We'll come back with our friend Phil Steele, and we'll ask him about the contenders in the Big Ten, the ones that are coming after Ohio State. Rothman and Ice in the Fan.
We know everything about you. We know you love the Buckeyes. We know you love the Jackets. We know you're wearing a red shirt. I just freaked the hell out of someone. The Fan.
Another day is here, and you're ready for it. What to wear? Check. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner? Check. Planning for what's next and how to save for it? That's where Bank of America can help. For your financial to-dos, Bank of America has experts ready to help get you closer to your goals. Get started at one of our Central Ohio financial centers or 24/7 in our mobile banking app. Find a location near you at bankofamerica.com/talktous. What would you like the power to do? Mobile banking requires downloading the app and is only available for select devices. Message and data rates may apply. Bank of America N.A., member FDIC.
We're dealing at Reichert Nissan. Hundreds of Nissans in stock, on the ground, and priced to sell fast. Low lease payments on brand new Reichert Nissan Sentras, only $229 a month. Now we're really dealing. With our best value guarantee and 72-hour exchange policy, you can't buy the wrong car. Visit the Reichert Mega Mall off 270 and 33 or shop thousands of new and certified used at ReichertNissan.com. Get the right car at Reichert. We're dealing.
With approved credit, 2024 Sentra SR FWD 24-month lease with $3,000 due at signing and $731.24.
She posted about us just now.
Celebrities can't get enough of Bianna's bespoke skincare line.
She has 147 million followers. How do we monetize?
She needs a social media associate to help her with the hype.
We should repost this. Do we need a hashtag?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Raid wants to know, what would you do if you could confidently face every day knowing you and your loved ones are protected? Would you sing along to your favorite song at the top of your lungs? Turn off the GPS and let your heart do the guiding. Go to the drive-thru and order one of everything. Feel the buzz of confidence of knowing you are protected with 65 years of insect science in your hands. Raid. Protection for everyone.
The Buckeye Show.
We finally found our C.J. Stroud rookie card. The C.J. rookie cards are going like crazy.
He's single-handedly saved Panini's football products for 2023.
The Buckeye Show.
Sponsored by CareSource.
Weeknights at 6 on The Fan.
Common Man here for Care Heating and Cooling. Weather is unpredictable, but the inside of your home should be comfortable just the way you like it. And the best way to avoid those unnecessary surprises is with a care plan. See, with a care plan, you get priority service, system maintenance in case of an emergency. Just another way to give you and your family peace of mind. And maintaining your systems properly can help save you money. A properly maintained furnace and air conditioner run more efficiently, reducing your utility usage. Regular maintenance also prevents breakdowns and extends the life of your equipment. I'm on the care plan, and I'm quite the expert. I'll stop by and give your system a once-over. I will. Don't tempt me. I end every commercial the same way, telling you to hire Care when you need a company you can trust. It's not just the slogan. That's the Care creed. How about this? Lennox. They have thousands of dealers nationwide. HVAC royalty. Last year, Lennox gave Care their coveted Partner of the Year award because they're trusted by their customers and their partners. Care Heating and Cooling. Call 1-800-COOLING or book an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com. When you need a company you can trust.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
Rothman and Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Their cholesterol numbers put all other fan hosts to shame. You were listening to Rothman and Ice.
He's still doing it, and he's doing it well. He is Phil Steele, College Football Preview Mag. Votes on the Heisman, All-American Committee for the Football Writers Association of America, former ESPN insider, and he's with us now on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. Phil, welcome back.
Hey, a real pleasure being on, guys. Always a lot of fun. How you guys been?
We're doing great, and it's a wild year, right, with the expanded playoff and the rivalry games and who gets a get-out-of-jail-free card and how much will everything mean. Give me your little take on that, just on your feeling of where we are in college football. Do you like this move they're making? How much are you looking forward to it, or do you think it's going to destroy some of the fabric of what we're used to with the rivalry stuff like I mentioned?
Yeah, I tell you what, there's a lot of change. You know, guys, I missed the Pac-12 conference. I missed the regionality of it. Having Stanford and Cal and the ACC, I'm not really wild about that. But I'll tell you what, I think college football will survive. I go back to the first year of the magazine, which was actually 30 years ago, in the 30th year of the magazine. It was the final year of the Southwest Conference. And at that time, teams were going to the Big 12 and the SEC, and you're like, what's going on? But college football survived and thrived. And I like the advent of the 12-team playoff. If there's one thing that, is a little troubling, it's the transfer portal. And not that I mind the transfer portal, but it makes writing a magazine a lot tougher, guys. I had to go to the press June 7th to capture all these transfer portal moves. We used to be able to go to the press in the middle of May.
Let's talk about this Ohio State roster that Coach Day and his staff have assembled. Phil, there's a lot of buzz and hype around them, just as far as on-paper football, if you will, throughout the spring and early portion of summer. But when you assess what they have put together, where's Ohio State stacking up for you?
Well, they're clearly right at the top. I think Ohio State and Georgia are the two top teams in the country. This year, you look at Ohio State, the best secondary in the country, the best defensive line in the country, the best running back room in the country. And I like the fact that it seemed like a lot of the guys stayed because, the 3 straight losses to Michigan, no Big Ten titles. A lot of the guys who normally would have left the NFL satisfied came back. And then the additions, it's not like Ryan Day brought in 25 portal guys like some other schools do, but the quality of the additions. I mean, Quinshon Judkins, a running back, wow. Will Howard, at quarterback, I think, is going to do fine. Seth McLaughlin at center, and then Caleb Downs coming in from Alabama, one of the best safeties in the entire country. I really like the specific guys that they brought in the transfer portal.
So they're going to play Oregon out there, and now Oregon's in the conference, and it feels weird to everybody, but they got the big transfer in Dylan Gabriel. They'll get Ohio State at home. The Ducks are talented. Are they physical enough? How does Oregon stack up for you this year?
Yeah, I think Oregon's going to be a true test for Ohio State. The Autzen Stadium is one of the loudest venues out there. They get on you early. Bo Nix last year had a 45-3 ratio. I don't think Dylan Gabriel's going to have a 45-3 ratio, but he's going to have a really good year, and he's one of the top Heisman contenders. They've got my number one receiving core in the country, just slightly ahead of Ohio State. They've got one of the top offensive lines in the country, already at number 3 in the country coming in. And then defensively, they got a guy like Jordan Birch at defensive end. They've got Jacobs and Bassa at linebacker, and the secondary is loaded with talent. So this is a very dangerous Oregon team. And last year, Oregon basically 2 plays away or 1 play away from being in the playoff. I mean, they had 2 really close, tight losses to Washington, or else they would have been there. They're fired up for this one. They'll be at home. They only play Michigan State the week prior and Purdue the week after that. That's going to be Ohio State's toughest test this year.
Phil, let's talk about the Wolverines up in Ann Arbor. They had a bunch of veteran experience last year, as you know. When you flip the page to 2024, what do you think about the talent that they have now under Sharon Moore?
Love the defense. They have a really good defense. My number 4 defensive line, I think all 4 starters on the defensive line are NFL caliber guys with Moore, Graham, and Stewart. The linebacking core is solid. They bring in Barham from Maryland, which was a big-time pickup. One of the best cornerbacks in the game, in Will Johnson. Now, my question marks with Michigan are in 2 fairly important areas. Number 1 would be the offensive line. They lose all 5 starters. The other one is quarterback. Are they going to really be able to develop a quarterback? I mean, Orji, you have questions about his passing. Tuttle and Warren seem more like game managers. So I wonder about the quarterback. I wonder about the offensive line. And they have to play Ohio State on the road. I think they're inexperienced. They're only number 117 on my experience chart. Last year, they were number 7 on my experience chart, which is why they probably won the national title. They had a very experienced team. I think they lose to Texas early because they're inexperienced, and Texas is a really good team. The Oregon game is a toss-up game, and I think the Oregon game is going to be pivotal for Michigan, whether or not they make the playoff, the 12-team playoff. If they can get past Oregon at home, I think they have a good shot of making it. If they lose to Oregon at home, I do think they lose to Ohio State in Week 12, and I think they would go 9-3 and probably miss the playoff at that point.
Phil Steele with us, author of the Bible, the College Football Preview Mag. He does it every year. He's been doing it forever. He is the insider and publisher. Let me ask you this. Which team or teams, Phil, jump into your mind, teams that wouldn't normally make a 4-team playoff, that will make this expanded playoff, that could really make some noise, that would be enough for them to get a chance to pull an upset? Who jumps into your mind?
I'm going to give you 3 teams. Let's start with Penn State. Penn State this year, they've been stuck in that behind Michigan and Ohio State. Well, they don't play Michigan. They don't play Oregon. They don't play Iowa this year. They do have a lot of talent. Drew Alara, I think, will be much improved in his junior year. The offensive line looks good. Defensively, they're very solid. And special teams is good as well. They've got a great schedule this year. They could be favored in potentially 11 of their 12 games. The only one that they wouldn't be favored is Ohio State. The USC game's a toss-up at this point. But I think if Penn State finally makes the playoff, they've got the talent to potentially pull an upset on the right day. Another one to throw out at you is Utah, though. Like Cam Rising at the quarterback spot. And remember last year, they lost their backup quarterback in August. And then Cam Rising didn't play. So they were down to their 3rd, 4th, and 5th string quarterback at times during the year. And they played in the Pac-12, which was really one of the best conferences in college football last year. Pac-12 had its best season in 15 years. And they had to play most of the Pac-12 toughest teams on the road, Oregon State, USC, Washington, and Arizona. Well, this year, they've got 15 starters back. They get Cam Rising back. Teams can't stop stack the line and force them to attempt to pass with poor quarterbacks. They've got a very solid offensive line, defensive line. They have only lost 2 home games the last 5 years in Rice-Eccles Stadium. They get most of the tough games at home. I think Utah could surprise. And remember the game they gave Ohio State in the Rose Bowl a couple of years ago. So with Cam Rising there, I think Utah is a threat. And then the other one to throw out at you, you mentioned a team that normally would not be in the playoff mix. I'm going to go with Ole Miss. And Lane Kiffin's got quite a bit of talent coming back. In fact, on the experience chart, they're number 13, yet he brings in all these transfers. I've got 7 guys projected as starting on defense that are transfers, like Walter Nolan coming in from Texas A&M, Princely coming in from Florida, and others. So this is really a talented team. They've got Jackson Dart, an explosive offense, and a schedule that should get them into the playoff. And with that offense, I think they're a threat in any playoff game.
One conference I haven't heard much about this all season because it just seems like the Big Ten and the SEC have been soaking up a lot of the attention is the ACC. Phil, who is your ACC favorite, and maybe your thoughts on Clemson if it's not them going into the year?
Yeah, I've got 3 teams tied for first in the ACC. I've got Clemson, Florida State, and Miami. And by the way, when you're trying to pick a 17-team conference, there's only 9 possible outcomes. So there's going to be at least 8 ties in a conference. So don't get on me for picking ties in the conference. But let's talk about Clemson for a minute. And, when you look at Clemson, Dabo Swinney's getting beat up because he hasn't used the transfer portal, right? Well, he may have the best chemistry of any team in college football because they don't use the transfer portal. They didn't lose a lot of players to the transfer portal. They got a lot of talent coming back. Cade Klubnik's back at QB. He was my number 1 rated quarterback out of high school, and I think he's going to thrive as a junior. They've got a veteran offensive line, a solid defense, and, the majority of the team is back from last year. And last year, they lost 4 games. In those 4 games, they had a 94-60 first down edge. Fumbles in the red zone, missed field goals in inopportune times. Heck, Florida State went undefeated last year and didn't lead Clemson for a single second. Then yet they won the game in overtime thanks to a 70-yard fumble return for a touchdown in the 4th quarter. But I think Clemson could be a threat this year to make some noise. But I think the ACC gets 1 team in the playoff, and it's whoever wins that conference championship.
Okay, Phil. I know that people get the mag. You can give us all the details, but will you give out your Phil's forecast? Who's going to be in the championship game and who's going to win it all?
I sure will. Let's do it. And I'm going to go with Georgia and Ohio State. And I think it'd be a heck of a game. Both teams very talented. The thing I like about Georgia the best is probably their depth. You go 3 deep at every single position. I mean, like their running back core goes 6 or 7 deep. Something that Ohio State doesn't have that kind of depth at running back this year. But I think overall, they're the deepest team out there. They got my number 1 rated offensive line. They got a veteran quarterback in Carson Beck. They've got one of the top defenses in the country, and they also have my number 3 special teams in the country. So I'm going to give the edge to Georgia, but I think Ohio State gets the national title game this year.
That's the rematch we're looking for. Where can people get the mag? Usual places, I imagine, and then also online, right?
I appreciate that. Yeah, it's exclusively at 2 places this year, Barnes & Noble and Books A Million. So if you're going to a brick-and-mortar store, you want to pick it up today. 352 pages. It's got 2 full pages on every team, Barnes & Noble or Books A Million. Or you can go online at philsteele.com. And when you go to philsteele.com, if you order the hard copy, we give you the digital magazine for free. So Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, or philsteele.com.
You're the man. Appreciate you jumping on. I know you've been doing the big tour, and we appreciate to be a part of it. Thank you.
Hey, a lot of fun talking football with you guys today. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, we'll do it again. Thanks. Phil Steele, College Football Insider, publisher of the Season Preview Mag. And that was a fun time on the Bryant Heating Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. All right, we'll come back, Maddie. The Browns give a star player a new contract. No, it's not him. We'll tell you who. Rothman and Ice from the Fan.
Your morning just got beefier. Morning Juice with Beamer, Bobby, and Shark.
Weekdays from 6 to 9.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Direct Auto Insurance is for uncompromisers. The people who refuse to make trade-offs in life. Like Kelly, when her old car insurance got so expensive that she couldn't afford to drive anymore, do you think she started carrying her groceries for miles? No. But she did find Direct Auto's savings that allowed her to drive instead of compromise. With savings of up to 25%, you too can stop compromising and keep driving. Get a quote today at directauto.com. Savings based on applied discounts and will vary. Terms apply. How you buy can affect price. National General Group, Winston-Salem.
Soak up the savings this summer from Family Dollar. It's never been easier. Just download the Family Dollar app, sign up for smart coupons, and see how you can save more than ever before. Enjoy smoking hot deals on cookout classics or get ready for outdoor fun with SPF for the whole family. Plus pool toys, decor, and so much more. Check out the app today and get ready to save with the Family Dollar Summer Savings Event. New offers drop every week. Family Dollar, helping you do more.
Hey, have you heard about Tim Hortons' new happy hour? Get 50% off summer menu drinks after 2 p.m., Monday to Thursday.
50% off?
Yeah. Try the new Cocoa Caramel Crunch Iced Cap, Butter Pecan Cold Brew, Mango Frozen Lemonade, Solar Splash Tim's Boost, and Berry Cherry Refresher.
There are so many options. That's really good.
Discover a new favorite with Tim's Summer Menu and enjoy 50% off during happy hour. Only at Tim's. Limited time at participating U.S. restaurants. Terms apply.
You know what's better than an Ohio Lottery scratch-off ticket? A winning Ohio Lottery scratch-off ticket. And now with a new $1,000 tax-free scratch-off, you've never had a better chance to win $1,000. Seriously, this $20 game has 18,000 $1,000 winners. That's a lot of winners. And that's $1,000 after taxes. So, what are you waiting for? The $1,000 tax-free scratch-off from the Ohio Lottery. Your best chance ever at winning $1,000. Players are subject to Ohio laws and commission regulations. Play responsibly.
One of the most important Buckeye football seasons ever is coming. The Fan is your home for all the news and interviews you need as fall camp approaches. Join us. We're a friendly bunch of degenerates. Your Buckeye station, The Fan.
You know that project you've been working on? Just chipping away at it, dreaming of the day you get to show it off? Then, when you're least expecting it, cancer. And finishing that project actually happens. I would know. I've been restoring this car for years, and today I'm giving it to my granddaughter. It's her 16th birthday and 2 years since my cancer diagnosis.
Mom, you finished it?
Happy birthday, boo-boo. You keep making plans.
Visit ohiohealth.com/keepmakingplans to learn more.
Billiards Plus has everything for the master griller in your house. Come to their showroom, open the lid, and feel the difference in their grills. Professional top quality equipment at great prices with a huge selection ready to go home with you. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
As a local family-owned and operated company, Newman Roofing takes great pride in providing great customer experience and quality product to every job they do. From the first phone call to the end of your project, they'll know who you are. Don't just get a roof, get a Newman roof. Call 614-NEW-ROOF, newmanroofing.com.
Texting enrolls you in recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
I can't believe this is real. We're finally doing our big fishing trip.
This is the year I'm doing everything I've always talked about.
Something's different about you. I feel like I'm talking to a whole new man.
Between you and me, it's Nugenix Total T that's making the difference.
Nugenix, the testosterone booster?
Exactly. Turning 40 and lower testosterone made it harder to find the drive and energy for the things that matter, like spending time with family and friends. So I tried Nugenix Total T.
That really works.
Absolutely. Nugenix is the reason we're finally doing this trip. It's why I have more energy for my family.
How do I give Nugenix a try?
Send them a text for a complimentary bottle.
Text LEAP to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. It's the #1 selling testosterone boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now and they'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, their newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text LEAP to 321-321. That's LEAP to 321-321.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Columbus, Worthington, Air, and Bryant. Doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
The perfect ratio of sports talk, dogs, pro wrestling, and gambling advice.
It's science.
You're listening to Rothman and Ice.
I'll take it back to, August of last year. Almost this time last year. And the Browns went to the Chargers and said, we'll give you a 7th-round pick for the kicker you don't want. That sounds pretty good. Because Dustin Hopkins lost his starting job. And then he takes over for the Browns. And also he was 124th pick in 22. Is that right? I'll have to go back and look and see.
Here's what I do know.
Yeah, he was round 6. I'm sorry, pick 177.
And in that same draft, before that, the reason why the trade had to happen is Andrew Berry and company drafted Cade York in the 4th round in 2022. And that was pretty eye-opening.
That's what I'm thinking of.
Who was still on the roster.
124th pick in 22.
And that did not work out well. And then that gets to the story that you just told, where they said, we got to get Dusty in the building. And now here we are. And does it look like he'll be leaving that building anytime soon?
It's a lot of money for a position that they're telling us is being phased out of the NFL.
$5.3 million now for Dustin Hopkins.
A year.
I will say this. I think he's, and CB, you tell me if I'm wrong, he's probably been the best kicker since Dawson has been there, the most security since he's been there at that position. And he's not perfect. None of these guys
he's close
are
to perfect.
But I think I have a bit of a different perspective on this because of my team. And Justin Tucker is right around $6 million a year. But I've watched him, AR, for years win us games. So to me, the money isn't as crazy, or maybe the sticker shock isn't as big as it is for some people when they saw this come out, because for my team that I root for, I watched a kicker come through for me, and maybe Justin Tucker might, I don't know, I think he is a Hall of Famer at this point, but it's a valuable weapon to have. But you're right. I mean, we've seen guys that are at the top of these lists as far as AAVs goes for kickers, and they're not always clutch when you want them to be.
I've kind of created this quote that I've, spit out on the airways before, that field goal kickers are like putters. When they break, you get a new one. Or when they don't work, you get a new one. And it feels like that's what the NFL does. It's a revolving door. And some guys, because it's all these guys are physically talented. Now, some guys certainly can hit it farther than others. And a 50-plus yard field goal today feels to me like something in the low 40s when I was a kid. Like, these 50-plus yarders are nothing to these guys. And 50-plus yards 30 years ago was, my goodness. And you start going through the list. So I'm going to give you the 50-plus of what Dustin Hopkins was last year. He was 8 for 8. He was 8 for 8 from 50-plus.
That'll work.
That's as good as it gets. Now, I don't want a guy missing chip shots either. Like, if he's just got a hammer and he doesn't have any touch and guidance when I need him to hit one from 33.
And hammer like Thor, huh?
Yeah, then that matters too. But I'm going to go along the list. So Dustin Hopkins from 20 to 29 yards was 8 for 8. From 30 to 39, he was 7 for 7.
Okay.
And I mentioned to you from 50-plus, he was 8 for 8. 40 to 49, he was 10 of 13. Now, all kicks aren't created equal. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I know exactly where these kicks were and whether weather was included or whether the snap was bad or the laces were angled a little differently. I don't know that. They do, and they gave him the money because they're paid. If you're going to pay a guy $5.3 million a year to kick, you better take every last kick that he's made and analyze it and decide exactly whose fault it was if he missed and all that. And I'm with you. All it takes sometimes, and you guys bring this up a lot. I know you bring up the Vikes a lot. For me, and the Anderson stuff, the Anderson kick, the only one he missed that year, I guess you could say cost the Vikings a Super Bowl. Now, they were still leading the game by 7. Atlanta came back. They tied the game. They won it in overtime. And maybe the best team that I've ever seen in Vikings history was, punished by a guy who missed one. I'm not going to fault the guy. He missed one kick. But to your point, that's what I think about because we've been so close. The Brownies, he's a member of the same club I am, the One Before I Die club. We've not won a Super Bowl. You have several. And so when you think about whatever gets this done, and if it's Hopkins, is it dangerous to give a kicker $5.3 million if he's not Justin Tucker and he doesn't have that type of pedigree? And the history, maybe. I mean, Dustin Hopkins has now played for 5 teams. To my point, when they break, you get a new one.
You got to date around before you find wifey, That's what you got to do sometimes. And it looks like he's found a home. What I've seen out there a little bit is maybe there's a pocket of Browns fans that are like, okay, you give the kicker $5 million and your star wide receiver, you're not taking care of that deal. first.
Well,
but
he's cheaper than your star wide
No,
receiver.
I understand, but maybe that $5 million could have been infused into an Amari deal. Maybe that could get things done. I'm not going to freak out too much about that yet because I think they're going to figure something out with Amari. But you mentioned the weather, you mentioned the physical tools. I also think with the kickers too, like you got to have a guy that mentally can be locked in and slow things down and calm his nerves because it is a pressure-packed situation to where, let's say Deshaun and that offense, they get down the field and the game's tied at 21 late in the fourth quarter, and you got to get old Dusty out there to kick a 5-yard field goal to win the game. How does he handle those moments? That's what we got to wait and see. But I'm not too mad at it. But again, I look at this through a different lens because of what Justin Tucker has done for my team for years.
He's the best.
Yeah.
He's the best in the game.
He's worth the investment.
He's worth the investment. And Hopkins, the only thing I would say is he had the best year of his career and you handed him $5 million. The best year of his career, percentage-wise, I think, and you hand. So it's a little risky because we've seen other kickers get handed money and they don't live up to what they were that year. So he got reward bucks. As long as they're going to keep kicking field goals in the NFL, then you got to think this is a proper gamble investment based on what he did. If you're gambling with your health, don't do it anymore. If you're feeling tired, you lack motivation and drive, you gain some weight, you've lost some muscle mass, all could be signs of low testosterone. Don't wait. I want you to find out. I want you to go to lowtcenter.com. I want you to book that appointment and get your blood tested. They have an on-site lab, 25 minutes. You'll get those results back. It's not like your typical doctor's office. You've heard me say that before. You're not going to wait a long time. Their physicians specialize in treating low T, and they'll customize a treatment for every patient if you need it. They are the experts. They've been around for over a decade. They have all the experience, and they've helped patients achieve life-changing results. Most health insurance is accepted for treatment, but the first step is the big one. Go get your levels tested. LowTCenter.com is the place. Book that appointment today. LowTCenter.com. Low T Center, reinventing men's health care. We come back and we talk NFL after a SportsCenter update. A big star in the league. Is it a done deal? One analyst says it is. You'll get those details next. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
Head to 971thefan.com to listen on demand and subscribe to all our podcasts. Wasting time has never been easier. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Erectile dysfunction is a destroyer of your confidence, of your joy and intimacy, and often it can even harm your relationship. This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, the leading men's sexual health practice in our area for treating erectile dysfunction, and I want you to know today that if you're like most men, you can be free of ED and all the impacts it has on your life. At Tri-State Men's Health, we're your local provider for dealing with men's sexual health issues. Our expert medical teams are focused on treating ED, and we have highly effective treatment plans with some protocols that work in well over 90% of cases. We can even combine treatments for greater efficacy, all of which means it's very likely you'll be having great sex again within just a day or two of your first appointment. You might even find you're performing like you haven't in years. So call us. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com. We have two convenient locations, just off 270 in Hilliard and near the Medical Mile in Westerville.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. If you need a new roof, but you're not sure you can afford it, no problem. Right now, Able Roof is offering no payments, no interest until 2026 for qualified buyers. Yep, that's the same Able Roof that's been voted the #1 roofing company in Columbus by Consumer Choice Awards 22 years in a row. Want more? Able Roof will give you up to $1,000 off a new roof, siding, or windows. This is a limited time offer, so call Able Roof today.
Call Able for the proof. 444 roof.
Hi, I'm Joanna Williams, here to introduce you to Tansky Power Sports. That's right, check out our growing inventory of golf carts, electric bikes, and dirt bikes. And the fleet keeps growing. This month, come rent a golf cart for the 4th of July. We're located at 2491 West Dublin Granville Road in Columbus. Visit TanskyPowersports.com to book yours today. And when you think power sports, think Tansky.
Think Tansky. Think Tansky.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds, which could be life-changing. I mean, you could put that money towards concert tickets for your daughter to see that singer who sings about painful breakups. And one song will inspire your little beauty to break up with that beast she's dating, Brian. Instead, she'll date someone who's nice and worthy of her love, not someone who addresses you and your spouse as bro. And it's all because you could save money switching at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, not available in all states.
right, people, let's get this meeting started.
Where are the chairs?
Gone. Research shows standing meetings are quicker.
What research is that?
Topic 1. CDW helped us deploy Mac supercharged by Apple Silicon for the way we work now. So how's their speed?
Fast.
Battery life?
Long.
Cyber threat protection?
Strong.
Ownership costs?
Low.
Great. This meeting
Adjourned. Wow, that was fast.
Yep, that's the research.
With Mac configured by CDW, a solution that works for everyone isn't just possible, it's powerful. Find out more at cdw.com/getmac.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good afternoon. I'm Matt Andrews. The deadline passed yesterday for the Bengals' T. Higgins. He'll play this season on the franchise tag. As of yesterday at 4, he had now reached a long-term deal. He'll play this year on a $21.8 million deal. The franchise tender. The Browns kicker Dustin Hopkins did reach a new contract on a 3-year deal worth $15.9 million, making him one of the top-paid kickers in all of football. In Dubai yesterday, Team USA, in search of their 5th straight Olympic gold in France, beat Australia 98-92 in an exhibition. This update is sponsored by BMI Federal Credit Union. Earn a $200 cash bonus at BMI Federal Credit Union when you open a new free checking account. Visit bmifcu.org/free. Breaking sports news when it happens here on The Fan.
Always as tender as a well-done steak. This is Rothman and Ice.
Second hour of the program, Rothman and Ice. Mike Tannenbaum, founder of the Two Deep Zone at 1:33. Got a bulletin coming your way. And we have a prize we'd like to give out now and pay off at the appropriate time.
You're darn
Show of
right.
integrity.
You're darn right, AR. We're giving away a family 4-pack of tickets right now to the Cardale Jones charity softball game, which is going down this Saturday, July 20th at Huntington Park. Current football players for Ohio State taking on former Ohio State football players. 614-821-9710 is CB's hotline number. Earlier, we had Phil Steele on talking about his wonderful college football magazine. AR asked him about some potential sleepers that could pop up in the new CFP format this year. If you get one of his 3 correct, you will get a family 4-pack of tickets to the Cardale Jones charity softball game on Saturday, July 20th at Huntington Park. And again, our number is 614-821-9710.
We talked about Davante Adams because of all the little breadcrumbs that Aaron Rodgers has been dropping lately about wanting to reunite with him and play with him again. And we've talked about that he seems to be this hot button subject for a lot of fans, especially even out in Vegas and in New York. I still think, and I think you do too, he's an elite player. He's at a premium position. Is he past his prime? I don't think he's past it. He's probably on the back end of it. He can be part of the solution for them, and it seems like the team is completely committed to Davante Adams. He's going into his 3rd season in Vegas after that blockbuster trade with the Packers in March of 2021. And we pointed this out. They have several coaches on the staff that worked with him in Green Bay, including Luke Getsy, who's the new offensive coordinator. So the financial difficulty that I've been reading about trading him because his contract is until 2025, it seems like some of the fans in Vegas see some value in trading him and get more trade compensation to build for the future. And if Aaron is driving this bus and wants this to happen so bad, it seems like the Raiders could maybe leverage this to their credit, because if Rodgers wants badly to get him to New York because he's all in and this is his last ride, you brought this up. They probably could have dangled the number 10 overall pick for Adams before the draft, and the Raiders could have bitten on that, and that didn't happen. So where are we with this? I know one analyst feels that, and when I said done deal in the T's, I meant done deal as in it's going to happen.
Before we hear the sound from that analyst, let's go back to maybe what the potential value could be for Davante Adams, because I've been thinking that he could be worth, a 2 and maybe some other stuff, but maybe I'm way too high. because I had to remind myself that we just watched Stephon Diggs go for a 6th-round pick and a 5th-round pick to Houston. So, and some other stuff. So the value of Davante Adams, I don't know if it's that high or will be that high. So if I'm a Raider fan, I'd be careful with thinking that we're going to get this great trade package because the big name brand is still the big name brand. I get that. But because of his age, as you mentioned, maybe that trade package wouldn't be as juicy as you want it coming back to the other side.
I'm glad you brought that up. It was a pair of late rounders. He came with a lot more drama.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, when you talk about trading a receiver right around 30 years old, that probably doesn't have too many peak years left, I think this is different than trying to acquire, Brandon Aiyuk or T. Higgins, where they are on their timeline.
I agree with that. I also think, though, that's why I mentioned that the Raiders should try, because if they don't want to trade him, that's fine. But if they're thinking about it, or they could take it either way, then they need to strike based on if Rodgers really wants this to happen. Now, I know we can't force the Jets to do it, but I'm looking at Diggs. So Diggs was going into the first year of that massive 4-year deal. We talked a lot about that. So the Bills were taking that massive dead cap hit, and boy, that was rough.
And then he got to Houston, and they ripped up that deal. Yeah. It's essentially a 1-year deal for Stephon Diggs, which I think will work out well for Houston because he's going to want to get his bag. So I think he'll be, a good team. And so I know that's going out on a limb with Diggs, but I think when guys want to get to money, they'll stay in line more times than not, especially when this could be their last crack at their big bag. So I think CB's got some sound from Dan Orlovsky from ESPN because, like you said, there's just been a lot of chirping about this. And over the last 48 hours, you're starting to hear people that are reporters and analysts that seem to be in the know with more finite details about the NFL than us on the outside, really shining a light on the possibility of this thing happening.
Yeah, I think Davante Adams plays for the Jets this season. So the reason why I say that is this. Have you watched Netflix, the receiver? Stuff. Have you seen it? Have you seen the frustration from Davante Adams? It's not that much better of a situation. One, the only reason it wouldn't happen, Greeny, is if he would feel bad about leaving Antonio Pierce, their new head coach. That's the only reason.
Antonio will be fine. He'll be fine.
Okay, but the loyalty of a competitor to a coach. One, the Raiders don't matter until they get a quarterback. I don't care what anybody says. So at some point, you got to try to go get a quarterback. Number two, if you're the Jets, why would you not? Cool, it's going to cost you you haven't won a Super Bowl ever, or in like 50-something years or something like that.
Yeah,
you've already gone all in. You have to make this work. If you don't win the Super Bowl, this is going to be one of the more disappointing acquisitions and runs and wasted talented teams that we've seen in the NFL in many years. I think this is a done deal. At some point, Davante Adams plays for the Jets this season.
The key in that to me is because I completely agree with his assessment of where the Jets are. But when he says, I think he said it at the beginning and right there at the end, they are at some point. He plays for the Jets. And does that happen before training camp or during training camp, or does that happen right around the trade deadline? That's what I find interesting about it. But as far as the Jets side of things, you got to be taking these big-time swings when you have Aaron Rodgers that might have 1, maybe 2 laps around the track left in his body, and you pair him with Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall and what looks to be a much better offensive line on paper right now, then I truly believe the Jets are in the thick of things as far as popping up in an AFC title game. Because I already think highly of them without Davante Adams because of what I think Garrett Wilson can do with Aaron Rodgers, but more importantly, how elite their defense will be again, because their defense was elite last year, and they got nothing from their offense. Nothing, and they still played at a high level. So I don't think that's going to be the case again. So if I'm Robert Saleh, if I'm Aaron Rodgers, I am banging the table for this guy and saying, whatever we got to do to get him over here, get him over here, because that really raises the ceiling of what we can be, and we could potentially be hoisting up a Lombardi.
So the Bills did get a second rounder as well. They did, besides those 2 lates. Because they got him from my Vikes.
So that's what I was saying. So that's what I was thinking for Davante. Like I said, you'd probably get a 2 and maybe some other stuff, but he's not bringing back a first-round pick. But like we've seen teams get, wide receivers in the second round that could be very valuable for him.
It's if I'm the Raiders, I do it if I can get the right price. If I can get a 1, it's done. Like that's,
I'm with you.
To me, that wouldn't even be a question.
Yeah.
And I think they should push for that where they are right now. Trading an expensive wide receiver on the wrong side of 30, or trading for one, let that be their present is different than your present and your future.
100%.
And if the Jets want to keep throwing, and I don't want to say good money after bad because I don't know. Maybe it will be good money. Both way for Aaron and for
at that point,
Devante.
it's like blank them picks type of vibe over there with the Jets.
Feeling.
You know, it's like, well, what do we have to lose?
What more do we need?
Anyway, real quick, staying in the wide receiver realm, this breaking news coming from Mike Garafolo at the NFL Network. And we've been talking about this guy a lot, but he's applying more pressure now because he's reporting that 49ers wide receiver Brandon Aiyuk has requested a trade out of San Francisco. The two sides have failed to get a deal done, and Aiyuk is now making a move. So we've seen this in Cincinnati this offseason, and that did not work out for T. Higgins. Now he's on the tag, and that deadline came and went yesterday, so that's completely in our rearview mirror now. He's on a 1-year deal essentially, and I think this will be his last year playing in Cincinnati. But now going out to San Francisco, we shall see if John Lynch, Kyle Shanahan, and company flinch. I don't think they will, because with him, this guy is one of the elites, and he put together an incredible season last year on only about 75 to 80 catches and still put up monster numbers, but they think they can win a Super Bowl. And without Brandon Aiyuk, that lowers their ceiling. So I don't think he's going to get what he wants, AR, and we shall see when they report the training camp either at the end of this week or in the middle of next week or whenever it is, whether or not he's willing to eat the fines. Because that's when it's really putting your money where your mouth is in these type of situations.
He's another guy who's a nice premier talent on a team that has been very close and hasn't done it. So I have no problem with him trying to exercise leverage, especially playing on a 5th year worth about $14 million. But if he wants a deal closer to Amon-Ra, then I think it's going to be too much. It will.
Really?
It feels like
you don't
that.
think he's that?
Well, isn't he reporting that it's basically not going to happen?
I think he is that type of dude. I do. And the reason why I think they should really go all in keeping him is because I think the Deebo Samuel stuff will start to show itself in a bad way. What I mean by that is his skills may start to diminish. And you just drafted Ricky Pearsall from Florida, who I think should be the Deebo Samuel replacement. But you want to keep your outside receiver that can do so many good things as far as running elite routes and beating some of the best corners in the league. So maybe his asking price is way too high, but I think that the Niners would be sadly mistaken if they think that they can move on from Brandon Aiyuk and continue to be the elite offense that they've been in the last couple of years, because I think he's that good.
I'm glad you brought up Deebo, because that's a guy that they ask and put him in a lot of situations, and he can get dinged a lot more than others. I know he wanted to kind of get away from maybe running the football a ton, but I mean, this is one of those things that, assuming Aiyuk is healthy and continues on this current pace, he wants to be a top 5 to 10 wide receiver that he is. I got no real problem with that, and the Niners know this business better than anybody. The longer they wait, the more the price goes up, and now it's probably gotten to a point where, because they see what the other receivers are making, so you kick that money down the road, you make the first couple years of his contract team friendly, you could do this. Man.
You mentioned the market, and you know we gotta let Fat Joe explain what happens when the market keeps evolving.
Yesterday's price is not today's price.
The Niners get away with a lot while Purdy's on a rookie deal.
Well, that's what's hovering over
this. This is the time. I know, and that's probably why they're hesitant to pay another receiver $20+ million a year.
But you got to do it. You got to do it. Kittle's getting older. Debo's getting older. CMC is still elite, but he's not a spring chicken anymore. This is the guy you want to have with Purdy for years. So I think anywhere in that $28 to $30 million range, I would do it if I were there.
Here's what they need to do. They need to bring you in, because you're an expert at getting creative with the salary cap, all right? Because you don't think it even exists.
The cap be capped.
You keep as much talent around Purdy as you can, because as much as we like him and as much as he's very good, he's not elite.
Yeah, things can get strange, right?
And then the other problem they have, and maybe they don't care about optics, but you trade a guy like that coming off a career year when you've been that close. But they could take a page out of the Patriots book. Trade a franchise player, move on early. I don't know.
Not a dude that
doesn't feel
in
right.
his mid-20s. That's way too soon.
Another former great and now analyst says you need to throw this guy out there right away. Is he right? We'll tell you next. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
We've been your Jackets flagship station since day one. All the goals, all the action, all the memories. Your home for the Columbus Blue Jackets, the Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Hey, have you heard about Tim Hortons' new happy hour? Get 50% off summer menu drinks after 2 p.m., Monday to Thursday.
50% off?
Yeah. Try the new Cocoa Caramel Crunch Iced Cap, Butter Pecan Cold Brew, Mango Frozen Lemonade, Solar Splash Tim's Boost, and Berry Cherry Refresher.
There are so many options. That's really good.
Discover a new favorite with Tim's Summer Menu and enjoy 50% off during happy hour. Only at Tim's. Limited time at participating U.S. restaurants. Terms apply.
She posted about us just now.
Celebrities can't get enough of Be Honest Bespoke skincare line.
She has 147 million followers. How do we monetize?
She needs a social media associate to help her with the hype.
We should repost this. Do we need a hashtag?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Raid wants to know, what would you do if you could confidently face every day knowing you and your loved ones are protected? Would you sing along to your favorite song at the top of your lungs? Turn off the GPS and let your heart do the guiding? Go to the drive-thru and order one of everything? Feel the buzz of confidence of knowing you are protected with 65 years of insect science in your hands. Raid. Protection for everyone.
We know your golf game is ugly, but your course doesn't have to be. Experience the natural beauty of Delaware Golf Club today. Delaware Golf Club is now open to the public and only 10 miles up the road from 270. For the best rates, book your tee time online at DelawareGolfClub.com.
Now at UDF, buy 3 everyday favorites with UDrive Plus to quickly stack an extra 20 cents in gas savings. That includes Monster Energy and Red Bull and Gatorade and Body Armor. And that adds up. UDF, made for you. Specially marked products with an opted-in UDrive account.
Here at The Fan, we give you 14 hours of live and local programming every day. We care about you. We live and work in your community, except Bo Bishop. He won't tell us where the hell he is. Your live and local station, except Bo. The Fan.
I need a small order of sheet metal to repair something in the shop. It's not much, but can you help me out?
At Metal Supermarkets, no order is too small.
Wait, really?
Yep.
What about small home projects?
Yep.
For a car I'm working on?
Yep.
Any kind of metal?
Yep.
Cut to size?
Yep.
With no minimum order?
Yep.
How about 1,000 cut pieces of aluminum flat bar?
Yep. Choose from over 8,000 types, shapes, and grades of metal in any quantity you need. And yes, we're serious. Any metal, any size, ready fast. Locally owned on Wilson Road.
Care Heating and Cooling. When you need a company you can trust, call 1-800-COOLING.
Straight from the manufacturer, cabinets are a better value. That's why you need Choice Cabinet for your next project. All wood, quality cabinets from an Ohio business that does things right. Choice Cabinet, 216-378-9313 or choicecabinet.com.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy real estate as is fast for cash. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. I buy vacant properties, inherited homes, divorce situations, death in the family. I even buy my tenants won't pay me the rent houses. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Hi, I'm Josie. My daughter turns 5 today. Blow out the candles. I'm also an Ohio State Highway Patrol trooper. When you move over and slow down, you're not only giving me room to work, you're making sure I can get home to celebrate with my daughter.
Roadside workers have lives and families, but when they're on the job, they put it all on the line to protect and serve us. Let's all give them room to work. When you see flashing lights, remember, they're not just roadside workers. Thank you for moving over and slowing down.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Today, look for partly sunny skies, along with some late-day showers. The high will be 91. Going into tonight, will you drop down to about 71? We'll be looking at mostly cloudy skies overnight. Tomorrow, look for widespread showers and storms with a high of 79. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with your 10 TV weather impact forecast on 97.1 The Fan.
Bet365 is the exclusive online sportsbook of Rothman and Ice. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365.
This is Rothman and Ice.
Sponsored by Pella Columbus, the #1 rated windows and doors in Columbus.
So there's always this big sentiment in the NFL that you can't get better sitting on the bench. But it doesn't mean you can't eventually gain more information about becoming better. Patrick Mahomes didn't start his first year. Now, he did start week 17, but I don't think that you would count that as far as like throwing him right out there. They didn't want him to start all year. They didn't want him to do that.
And they also had a pretty good quarterback at the time. Like some of these guys go into a situation that you're going into a bad team. Like Alex Smith he was fine. He was good enough as an NFL starting quarterback. He was, to me, like always one of those second tier guys, right? That was more of, I don't know if he was a truck or a trailer. He wasn't really that much of a truck. Sometimes he was a trailer, but that's okay. There's more of those guys than there are the trucks around the NFL. But I think that scenario just a little bit different just because of how competent Alex Smith was as a starting quarterback.
That's possible, and that gives you something there. And it also, where is your team?
Yeah.
Like how important is it that you win this year? I mean, I know that you want to always say that. Want to be competitive. Oh, can you make the playoffs? I mean, no one's going to admit, hey, you think you'll win 3 games this year or 5? Like, that's not, or like no one wants to talk like that. You see organizations talk about that. I remember when we had it here with the Jackets, right? You know, everyone's afraid to use that word rebuild. So what? Just use it. Be honest. We're rebuilding. It's not like the biggest negative that ever, but what happens is when you're simultaneously wanting to try to sell season tickets and keep people excited.
Pressure from ownership, to your point, yeah.
And so, you know, Josh Allen, they didn't want him to start, right? I think injuries got him in. And so there's just all sorts of things that could happen here. And listen, C.J. Stroud, he's an exception, I would think, as far as what he did. JJ McCarthy is going to tell you that he should start, right? He's not going to tell you that it benefits me sitting or I don't want to play. This was on Kay Adams' show on NFL Network?
The Up and Adams show, hosted by Kay Adams, and she had your boy, Randy Moss, on there. And I always love hearing Randy's voice because he's got that southern twang to his voice, but he's from West Virginia.
It may be a West Virginia twang.
I'm all in on Randy Moss, but here's his take on whether or not J.J. McCarthy needs to start or maybe sit a little bit.
I don't want to see J.J. McCarthy at all this year.
Why not?
Because I just feel like the best thing is for him to sit, learn, because that means Sam Darnold's doing a good job.
No, I mean, if you draft...
You want to see J.J.?
No, well, my thing is when we played, the first 3 guys that drafted, they're playing. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Now, in the 4th, 5th, and 6th round, we'll see. They may or may not see the field, maybe a special teamer. First 3 rounds back then we played. Now you're drafting guys first round. They're not even seeing the field. So if you ask me a question, Jay, I don't care if he's not ready. He needs to be out there.
Here's what I like about playing guys early is that I think, especially when you're a first rounder, which obviously he is that for the franchise, you get valuable information. And if it's a rocky journey, which it probably will be for a lot of rookies, and you mentioned the exception to the rule, which is a guy like C.J. Stroud and a couple other guys in the history of the game, but you get valuable information. And I look at what happened last year in Indianapolis with Anthony Richardson. Now you get a bit of a feel of, okay, this works for him. This doesn't work for him. We still have that 5th-year option. So we got plenty of wiggle room to get this guy ready to go. And I know a lot of people are going to throw out the Drake May New England situation because it does feel like, at least for now, we won't see too much of him unless something crazy happens throughout training camp and one of CB's exes and Jacoby Brissett fumbles the bag there. But I think Minnesota's situation is different. And I think with the structure that you guys have around JJ McCarthy, that makes his transition into the NFL a lot easier because we know Justin Jefferson is all-world at that position, but the other weaponry around him I think is really good, and I like the addition of Aaron Jones as a running back to come in and to provide maybe more pop for your running game than they've had in the last few years. So the talent alone, I think, is really good and can help him out. But I think the play caller as well, and your head coach, and Kevin O'Connell, I think he's a heck of a coach. And we saw him roll through a few different quarterbacks last year, and their offensive product was pretty good. So I'm not mad at what Randy Moss said. I got to always remember my rule that I throw out, the follow the money. And they did hit Sam Darnold with $10 million for 1 year. So I don't know if it's going to be right out of the gate, AR, but I do think at some point in time, JJ McCarthy will start more games this year than Sam Darnold.
Probably so. I just feel like they're set up for a decent future, the Vikes. They just need him to hit. Like that has to happen. So they've got a lot of young talent. They're like $90 million of cap space in 2025. And I just feel like it's all about the quarterback. He has to work out. He doesn't have to be elite. It's almost the Will Howard thing here at Ohio State. Doesn't have to be elite, but he has to pan out, I feel. Now, I know we did that poll about, would Buckeye fan feel as confident in winning a national title with Will Howard or Devin Brown? And that shook out, what's he be like 50-50 almost. And that may be just the emotion of knowing the kind of team you have, and we haven't seen each guy at his worst or best yet. But I'm okay with slow playing this. I think there's always this sense of, well, you traded up a little bit to get him. You got him where you got him. Wait a minute, what do you mean he isn't ready? And that sends this weakness out in the atmosphere. Wait, these other guys played right away. You mean they were? And what it does is it has a PR effect when you should not be a prisoner to, well, if he can't start right away, that means it was a bad pick. I don't subscribe to that.
I'm not one of those people that I just don't think you get better by sitting on the sidelines. I think you got to take it on the chin a few times, and then that can help you on the other side. I don't see the value in him standing there with a clipboard and watching Sam Darnold for a bunch of games this year, maybe one or two, and then we got to go. We got to get him out there because the chemistry that he needs to build with the youthful talent that you're talking about is going to be so valuable. And I do agree with you that he doesn't need to be a top 10 guy over the next 2 to 3 years. He doesn't, because the talent around him will take care of him as a quarterback and make him look much better. And so I think that by week 4 or 5, JJ McCarthy needs to be the starting quarterback for the Vikings. That's where I'm at. Got to get out there on the field and deal with those live bullets.
What if Darnold, as Kay said, is playing well? What happens?
What's well?
I think,
what's a record?
Here's the problem.
Yeah.
They're not going to have a win. They're not going to have a good record.
No.
This is going to set up, my guess. Could they upset Houston or the Niners? Maybe. I doubt it. They do get them at home. And then you got to go to Green Bay. You're going to a rival early. Do you want JJ playing in that game in week 4?
Yes.
Maybe you do, maybe
Absolutely.
you don't. I don't think there's going to be plenty of time for this guy to take his lumps. Why does he need to take him in the first 5 weeks? I mean, there'll be plenty of time. There's a bye week in week 6. You're coming out. You're playing Detroit at home.
You know what else I want to see him start? Because I don't want to watch Sam Darnold play football anymore. As a fan, I don't want to watch him play anymore. He's the definition of mid, and I think the ceiling is higher with JJ McCarthy's skill set. I just do.
Well, and so I'm not believe it is too. That's why they picked him where they did.
I'm not going to be scared of a few good defenses. He's going to have to face those defenses, and if it's right after the bye week, guess who he gets to face? One of the best teams in the NFC, in the Detroit Lions. So you can't run forever, and I would like for him to get out there and feel what that's like sooner rather than later.
If the other
because
guy's better, you still start JJ.
What do you mean by better? Like Sam Darnold to me would have to be. Well, you don't know what they would look like because JJ would be on the sideline.
He has a better handle on the offense. He's more experienced. He's seen more. He's throwing the ball.
He's got that out of the gate already with the experience and all that. But yeah, get the kid in there, man. Enough with the Sam Darnold experience. Us as football fans deserve better.
We'll ask Mike Tannenbaum about. He's the founder of the 2 Deep Zone. That's next. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
A lot has changed in 30 years, but we're still that old shoe that feels worn in and well loved. And well, we smell a little, but you've accepted that. The Fan.
Come play Skyline 75th Coney Hunt game. Use your phone to search for virtual Conies, tap to collect coins, and redeem them for exclusive Skyline merchandise at participating Skyline restaurants for a limited time. Details at SkylineChili.com/ConeyHunt.
Are you or a loved one struggling with addiction? Too many families suffer in silence, watching someone they care about struggle day after day. At Pinnacle Treatment and Recovery Works, we understand the pain and the heartache. More importantly, we know how to help. Our comprehensive addiction treatment programs can help you reclaim your life. Imagine waking up with hope, free from the fear of withdrawal. Help your loved ones, your son, your daughter, or help yourself. Take the step that changes everything. Visit pinnacletreatment.com/Ohio. Your new life starts now.
Billiards Plus has everything for the master griller in your house. Come to their showroom, open the lid, and feel the difference in their grills. Professional top quality equipment at great prices with a huge selection ready to go home with you. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
When we first started the business, there was me and one other gentleman. And in the evening, we would build the windows. My installers used to tease us because when they come pick them up in the morning, they were still warm. My employees respect me because they know that what they're doing now, I did the exact same thing. People need to see that the boss works for a living. That's part of running a good business.
Visit Rosati Windows and save 35% on all windows.
Hey, it's Anthony Rothman. Help me get the MLS All-Star Game party started at Rally House in Reynoldsburg for a special event this Sunday. I'll be there 10 to noon. Meet former crew player Alejandro Moreno for a picture and autograph from 1 to 2. Even get a special MLS house-branded rally towel as a gift with purchase for the first 150 customers starting right at high noon. It's all this Sunday. Rally House is much more than just another sports store. Located in the shops at East Broad in Reynoldsburg, show your colors at Rally House. See you Sunday.
Attention weekend warriors. Fan Sports Saturday has moved to 10 a.m. Join Eric Reeser and Tyvis Powell as they dive into popular topics like the Buckeyes and Tyvis's liquid diet.
Saturdays from 10 to 1.
The Fan.
Need inspiration? Shop Kroger for over 30,000 mouth-watering choices with savings beyond low prices, like digital coupons worth over $600 each week and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump. More savings and more inspiring flavors make Kroger worth it every time. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
Save big on 6-packs of Coca-Cola, Pepsi, or 7-Up. Select varieties are just $2.99 each with your card and digital coupon. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
O'Reilly Auto Parts is your exclusive in-person advance sale ticket outlet for the 2024 Ohio State Fair. Discount admission tickets are $8 at participating stores. Enjoy food, entertainment, animals, rides, and so much more at the Ohio State Fair, July 24th through August 4th. Get advance sale tickets now through Tuesday, July 23rd. Only at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career and they talked to me about it.
He was done in just months.
I did do it online.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months with zero experience at My Computer Career.
It worked for me and I know it can work for you.
It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
Need assistance with door and window projects? The Home Depot can help. From inspiration and materials to ordering and installation, our free millwork virtual apron service can get you moving and doing. Plus, we speak Spanish too. Our associates can help you tackle complex jobs without you leaving the job site, saving you time and money. Call us at 1-833-HD-APRON or visit homedepot.com/MVA. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
Rothman and Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
True to his name, Matty Ice wears a winter coat in the middle of summer. He lives the gimmick, man. You're listening to Rothman and Ice.
All right, a lot of good NFL, juicy stuff to talk about with our friend Mike Tannenbaum, founder of the Two Deep Zone, covering the league. And he's with us now on the Bryan Heating and Cooling Systems Fangast Hotline. Mike, welcome back.
It's great to be back. The juicy stuff starts right away the moment camps open. All of a sudden, you get the holdouts, you get the demands. It's amazing.
Well, I'm sure you've seen the recent stuff on that Brandon Aiyuk is just done now. He was trying to work something out with the Niners. Now he's officially requested a trade. That's been sourced out through the NFL Network and now through ESPN. So I guess the logical question becomes, let's find a landing spot for him.
Yeah, the landing spot's going to be the San Francisco 49ers. They're not going to trade him. They hold the cards in the long run. He can hold out, but when he holds out, he loses the money. He loses game checks if it comes to the regular season, and they're going to wait him out. I think if they had the interest and the option to give him a contract extension, they would have done it by now. I think they're playing hardball, they're playing hard line, and in a game of chicken, the team usually wins.
No doubt about that. We saw some of that happen in Cincinnati over the last couple of years with some of their bigger names. I want to stay in the NFC West, Mike, because yesterday we were reacting to ESPN's ranking of the top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL right now. And they talked to executives and coaches and scouts. And one name that was a little eye-opening to me, not because I don't think he's good, but because of some other guys that I think may be better at this time, was Matthew Stafford being fifth on that list. Would you agree with him that he is still that type of guy? And also your thoughts on the Rams without Aaron Donald now in the mix?
See, that's two different things. I still think Matthew Stafford's a heck of a quarterback. I think when they do these polls, my question is, well, what does that mean? Okay, so you think Matthew Stafford is good or great. Do you think he's going to be MVP? No. Do you think they're going to win the Super Bowl? No. Do you think he's going to be the passing leader? Like what does that mean? Justin Herbert's on the list. A lot of people love Justin Herbert. Do you think the Chargers are winning the Super Bowl or he's going to be MVP? Heck no. So it's hard to wrap your brain around what this means besides, hey, Stafford's won a Super Bowl. He's been in the league a lot of years, and he's a heck of a ball player. My problem with the Rams, and I think they did a lot in free agency. I think they had a very good draft. I was really surprised with some of the things they did last year. There's no replacing an Aaron Donald, but they've replaced guys at other positions. They've upgraded their offensive line and things like that. My problem with the Rams is the San Francisco 49ers. With or without Aiyuk, that's a phenomenal team. That's going to leave the Rams as a wild card team. As a Rams as a wild card team, do they have the horses to be anything more than that? And I don't think so. Not with Donald gone, not with, Cooper Kupp on the way down and Puka Nacua on the way up, but not, both great at the same time. I think this is a team that's going to win 9 or 10 games in 2024.
Who's going to assure the Vikings of a higher draft pick, starting Sam Darnold or JJ McCarthy? Because maybe that's where my mind is, because Maddie and I just talked about it. I'm like, okay, well, I'm all for sitting the guy because I don't think they're going anywhere this year anyway, but Randy Moss is out there saying it doesn't matter, throw him in there right away. If you've seen their schedule in the first 5 weeks, it's awful. I mean, yes, at the Giants, okay, but the Niners, Texans, at Green Bay, and then the Jets overseas before a bye week. Give me your thoughts on that. What does it say if the Vikings don't start McCarthy week 1?
That's exactly what I was thinking. You went right where I was going. I don't think about all 17 weeks because a million things can happen. And I know in mini camps, Sam Darnold looks very good. We've seen in the past Sam Darnold go out there and be kind of competent. He's never really been on a half-decent team. He's never had Justin Jefferson to throw to. Maybe he'd be better. It's that starting schedule. It's that 49ers, that Jets defense, the fact that, they're not going to, they are going to be overseas, the Packers and Texans emerging teams. If you can shield McCarthy from that, then wait for the bye, and then come in after the bye and put him in there, I think that's the right call. And that's the call I'd make if Darnold has anything to offer, and I think he does.
The Buffalo Bills now, without Stephon Diggs, going to be one of the more fascinating offenses to watch for me this year. Your thoughts on their ceiling offensively post-Diggs?
I think it's declined as a ceiling. I've read a lot of things about how a team can get by without a number one receiver. And I know teams can get by without a number one receiver. Then I look at the Bills and I say, do they have a number two receiver? Do they have one? Is it Curtis Samuel? He played for the Panthers and Commanders. He wasn't very good, Keon Coleman, the second-round pick, is a rookie. I don't know if he's going to be able to make a step up like that. Tight end is very good, but he's a tight end. So I look at the Bills and say, yeah, offensively from a passing game sense, their ceiling is a little low. But by trading Diggs, they saved cap space. They got some draft picks. They were able to spend money elsewhere. Defensively, they're very strong. Offensive line's very strong. They're a better running team than I think they were in years past. This is a team that isn't going to win with passing fireworks. They're going to win with balance, and they're going to be a very tough team to stop.
Where do you stand on if the Raiders should dangle Davante Adams out there to try to see if how serious the Jets are and how much Aaron Rodgers can push this through? Because maybe the price is going up based on how they feel about being all in.
I think there's a lot of chatter. I think it's a lot of people in the New York side of things saying, oh, let's get Davante Adams in. It's Aaron Rodgers through his people saying, give me all the toys so I'll be happy. I don't think the Raiders are that interested. I don't know how interested Adams really is. I'm sure that he would like to be on a contender. He'd like to be reunited with Rodgers, maybe, I guess. I think they get along. That's fine. Adams seems relatively content getting tons and tons and tons of money from the Raiders and getting all the targets. He doesn't really grumble in the media the way some of these other guys do. I'm not sure if there's any interested parties out there that are excited about this deal, except reporters trying to drum up a story with some famous big names involved.
Mike, one team and one quarterback that I haven't heard really anything about this all season is Derek Carr and the Saints. I know that division was not good last year. Baker Mayfield was a nice feel-good story with the way he reemerged as a guy in the league. But what's up with the Saints offense? We're very familiar with Chris Olave and what he can be, but are the Saints going to be making any type of noise in that division this year?
Well, you know what? You caught me off guard. I was not expecting a Saints question. I was thinking, Davante Adams, he loves Derek Carr. That is his buddy, so maybe he'd want to go down there. This is a team that is very, very old on defense. They have a lot of guys whose names are familiar, like Cameron Jordan and Demario Davis, who've been there since, I think Bobby Hebert was the quarterback. They've been there a long time. Olave, again, is a really good number one wide receiver, great speedster. The number 2 and number 3 aren't guys you would really have heard of. Tight end is not somebody you really heard of, although Johnson's a pretty good player. Alvin Kamara's older now. He wasn't as good last year. They were force-feeding him the ball. And they got some old guys on the offensive line like Ryan Ramczyk who are dealing with injuries and might not even play this year. So the main thing about that division is you can look like a 6-win team but win 9 games in that division, because the Panthers are terrible, because these teams are always kind of sorting themselves out. The Saints could be that team based on the fact that Carr is a professional, Olave is a good ball player. Those defensive players can still play. But, man, the ceiling for that team is scratching out a win, bad division, going out there in the playoffs and getting pasted, by the Lions or the Cowboys or the 49ers come playoff time.
Good stuff with our friend Mike Tannenbaum, founder of the Two Deep Zone covering the NFL. Thanks, Mike. Always good to have you on.
Always a pleasure. Take care and enjoy the start of training camp.
No doubt. Mike was on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. All right, friends, you're in the market for a new vehicle, and you want something reliable, something sharp, something maybe redesigned even, and something has just branded beyond belief, and that's Honda. And that's my friends over at Germain Honda of Dublin. They're on Sawmill Parkway just south of 270, and Rich just kind of forwarded me some of the incredible numbers and deals they have. 0% right now APR up to 36 months on all the new 24 Accords. We can get you in a Civic, a 25 Civic, a 25 Honda Pilot, even the CRVs that are so sharp. And like I say, if you want to take advantage of the remaining 24s, the Passports, and the Ridgeline, much like that, all approved credit. You need that, and you'll see the dealer for details. But I will tell you that the details of Germain Honda of Dublin or that is the dealership you want to do business with. You know about the brand. You know about the redesigns. I've told you about that over the years. And now, all of a sudden, this is the time. 0% APR up to 36 months on all new 24 Accords, the 25 Civics, the 25 Pilots, the 25 CRVs. This is the time to make the best deal. Germain Honda of Dublin. Go get them. We'll come back with a Buckeye Bulletin, and will a certain linebacker win the battle at starter? You'll hear it next. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
If you're starting your day any other way, you're doing it wrong. Morning Juice with Bobby and Beamer.
Weekdays starting at 6.
The Fan.
There's something about country music that's just so easy. Like a Bud Light. Simple stories, soulful melodies, and lyrics that refer to drinking a Bud Light in the sun. So keep it easy. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Bud Light. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hey, have you heard about Tim Hortons' new happy hour? Get 50% off summer menu drinks after 2 p.m., Monday to Thursday.
50% off?
Yeah. Try the new Cocoa Caramel Crunch Iced Cap, Butter Pecan Cold Brew, Mango Frozen Lemonade, Solar Splash Tim's Boost, and Berry Cherry Refresher.
There are so many options. That's really good.
Discover a new favorite with Tim's Summer Menu and enjoy 50% off during happy hour. Only at Tim's. Limited time at participating U.S. restaurants. Terms apply.
Care Heating and Cooling.
Honest technicians, honest pricing. Call 1-800-COOLING.
She posted about us just now.
Celebrities can't get enough of Be Honest bespoke skincare line.
She has 147 million followers. How do we monetize?
She needs a social media associate to help her with the hype.
We should repost this. Do we need a hashtag?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Raid wants to know, what would you do if you could confidently face every day knowing you and your loved ones are protected? Would you sing along to your favorite song at the top of your lungs? Turn off the GPS and let your heart do the guiding? Go to the drive-thru and order one of everything? Feel the buzz of confidence of knowing you are protected with 65 years of insect science in your hands. Raid. Protection for everyone.
Sunday is the time for brunching with your favorite people. And when they don't invite you, listen to us instead. Fan Sports Sunday with Tito and DeVere Posey.
Sunday morning starting at 11.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Nationwide Picnic with the Pops presents the pride of the Buckeyes, the Ohio State University Marching Band. Don your scarlet and gray and join the Columbus Symphony for a night of fight songs, battle cries, Carmen, Ohio, and more. Special guest appearances include Brutus Buckeye and the Ohio State cheer team. Pack your picnic basket and join the fun at the first big tailgate party of the season, topped off with fireworks. July 26th and 27th. Get your tickets today at picnicwithapops.com.
Something amazing is happening with supply chains. They're running themselves quickly and securely. That's because retailers consulted with CDW, who designed and built a Cisco security solution to defend against attacks and respond to threats. With end-to-end protection, better decisions are made in real time, so warehouse and customer data stay safe until products reach their destination. Cisco and CDW make amazing happen. Learn more at cdw.com/Cisco.
Small business owners, we know tackling your to-do list can sometimes feel like going 12 rounds against a heavyweight champ. Except that heavyweight's gloves are made of something hard, like diamonds. So when a new to-do pops up, you're like, I can't. I'm boxing my diamond boxing glove wearing heavyweight champ of a to-do list. At Progressive, we don't want to make your day any harder. That's why we make it easy with over 30 customizable coverage options, so you can finally land a knockout blow. See if you can save on business insurance in as little as 7 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company. Coverage provided and serviced by affiliated and third-party insurers.
Colin Man here for Universal Windows Direct. Universal Windows Direct is the best. Why? Number one, they have the best technology. They have window systems that last up to 5 times longer than the other jabronis. Plus, they back it up with a true lifetime warranty for as long as you own your home and a 20-year warranty to the next homeowner. And how about the deals? 0% financing for 60 months. That's 5 years. Restrictions apply because they always do. Call them today, 614-502-5220. Schedule your free in-home estimate. For the last windows you'll ever need, go to uwd.com.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Rothman and Ice present Buckeye Bulletin.
Sponsored by Logan AC and Heat Services. Feeling the heat? Call the experts at Logan Services now for hot deals on train systems, including 0% APR for 60 months.
All right, Buckeye Bulletin time. And there are some battles, certainly, on this Ohio State football team, this version of it this year, going after a national title. Our man, Bobby Carpenter, Morning Juice, and host of the Bobby Carpenter Show with Anthony Schlegel. And they had CJ Hicks on. And I said to CB earlier, I wonder if he started talking about the room and the competition because, you know, now that Styles is there, there's no guarantee that Hicks is the starter. And that battle will probably play out through camp. And here's Hicks talking about the linebacker room and wants it to be one of the best in the country.
PFF grades came out and basically like ranking all the linebackers, and Coach Larnais put up on the board. I think we were like number 10 in the country. He said by the end of the season we need to be top 3, and all the linebackers are like, no, we need to be number 1 because of the fact we all know what we all are capable of doing. We all know that we're very versatile. We all can run, we all can hit, we all are smart and can stop the run, do all that stuff. But it's just like how you said, we all need to gel together and come together. And I feel like we've done great job with that. Coach Laurinaitis is doing a good job just rotating guys. You got me out there with Arvell. You got Sonny out there with Gabe. You got Cody out there with Sonny. And whoever's out there, we're making sure that we're talking with each other and we're comfortable with each other. And basically, we're all on the same page before the ball snap.
Look at Coach James dangling the carrot, taking the PFF numbers.
Gotta motivate
look at
them,
where
baby.
they have you.
Disrespect. But those guys seem to be locked in, and that was interesting right there where he talked about, some of the combinations that they've been working through, and it's earlier on, and there was earlier on in the process for him, so you have time to do that. But CJ was a big recruit. I remember when they got him, and there was a lot of hype around him and some of his grades around the country, whether it was ESPN or 24/7 Sports. He was highly sought after coming out of Dayton, Ohio. So for him, I'm sure he's ready to really showcase what he can do. But it feels like Cody and Sonny are going to be guys that are really going to be in the mix. But you got to have bodies ready to go. And especially when we talk about potentially playing 17 games this season, you want to have a bunch of depth. So hopefully for CJ's sake, this will be a year to where everything clicks for him and he can go out there and crack some heads.
Well, you just said it. Both those guys have a lot of experience, C.J. Hicks and Cody Simon. And if this team is about that high floor early on and having the right leaders, then that may be it. But those guys are going to be pushing them. And CB, let's spin the second bite on the linebacker room, competing to replace the guys they lost.
I feel like Tommy and Steele set down a great foundation for us. I feel like now this room is more vocal, more competitive than it's ever been. Since Sonny's came down, everybody's competing no matter who it is. You got the young guys. You got G. Stove and Peyton Pierce. You got Arvell, you got Gabe. All of us are competing with each other every single day, and we love it. Like now we're getting our effort grades. And Coach Laurinaitis, the highest you can get is a 5, but Coach Nick's never going to give anybody a 5. But
of course not.
The linebacker room is to have everybody over a 4.5. And I think this past week, there was only one guy who got a 4.4. Everybody else was above that. So it's been great.
GPAs are booming over there. That's what I heard. The football GPAs are booming over there. So, yeah, this linebacking unit is going to be a part of a defense that should be elite. And I think they're going to have some good play up front between JT and Jack and Tyleek and some other guys that are going to create some good lanes for them with the attention that they're going to draw from, offensive linemen, and whether that's double teams or triple teams or whatever it's going to be. I feel like these linebackers are going to have plenty of room to run around and really make their presence felt week in and week out.
The massive games of this year, we know what they are, and we know that if you lose one, it's not the be-all, end-all. But the game with Ohio State at Oregon on October 12th is probably in everybody's potential top 5 of games this year that could matter. Here's our friend Josh Pate on that Ohio State-Oregon preview.
What are the biggest games in college football this year? Just straight up top 10 games of the year. Let me show you the direction I went, because I'm going all over the place. I think Ohio State at Oregon is maybe the biggest game of the year, certainly one of the biggest games of the year. These are the top 2 teams at FanDuel in terms of odds to win the Big Ten. The physicality challenge for Oregon, the thing everyone's talking about, how's that high-flying offense going to fit in the ultra-rugged Big Ten? That stuff's normally overblown, probably is here. Oregon, little cheat sheet here. Let's go ahead and start that. They may be one of the most physical teams in the Big Ten. How about that? So you've got that. You've also got the top S&P Plus rated offense in Oregon facing the top S&P Plus rated defense in the country in Ohio State. Autzen will be an absolute spectacle in this Week 7 matchup. And they've waited for a while up there for joining the Big Ten, but also to get one of the big boys. And they get Ohio State served up to them in their house in year 1. Everyone's going to be asking those questions. It's not early in the year, though. It's in Week 7. So we've already learned a whole lot about both these teams by then. These two teams could meet once. They could meet twice. They could meet thrice. And we know how rarely we've ever used that terminology in college football scheduling, because college football is not meant to be played that way. But I digress. This right here, this regular season matchup, both of them have over-under win totals of 10.5. That one's on the board.
The only thing we're waiting on, I believe, is a kick time for that one, right? I don't think we have a kick time for that game, but
got to be late.
We had. I agree. You want it to be late, no doubt about it. And what's going to be awesome is their offense talking to Oregon's against this defense. We had Phil Steele on earlier, and he mentioned that Oregon wide receiver room is his number one wide receiver room in the country. And I won't be surprised if we start to hear more from other college football analysts about Ohio State's secondary potentially being the number one secondary in the country, especially with the addition of Caleb Downs. So that good-on-good matchup is going to be awesome to see with Dylan Gabriel, who's been around the block more times than once and twice. It just seems like this dude's one of those quarterbacks that's been playing forever, and they're following that same mold that they did last year with Bo Nix. But that game is it's got banger written all over it. It really does. The eyes of the world are going to be on that game, and it's a pressure-packed situation because, yes, you do have wiggle room, but you want that feather in your cap. That way when you get later in the year, you could potentially grab that bye.
So you're going to have Ohio State at Oregon Saturday, October 12th. And the following week, you're going to have Georgia at Texas.
That'll work. We'll eating good as college football fans right there. Living well.
That will be, and who knows whether they'll flex that 3:30 to, the 8 o'clock or whatever with the Georgia-Texas game. We'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I was looking to see what our warm-up is that week for Ohio State so Ohio State.
On their schedule?
No, I was just seeing what else was going on, as kind of a preview that week. Penn State, USC.
Okay, not bad.
That's probably the one.
And for Ohio State, the week before you go out there, you get Iowa. I like that test for the offense, going up against a rugged Iowa defense. Before you have to go on the road into a tough environment, I think that's going to be good for whoever the quarterback is and the playmakers around them to not going into Oregon without being tested at least once. I think that'll work out well for them.
That is today's Buckeye Bulletin. All right, nice little third hour coming your way. We'll talk about some of the fantasy quarterbacks to avoid and some self-reflection off last night's Anthem and a little self-analysis. We'll give it all to you next. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
The only radio station still operating with an active booze cart. I'm drunk right now. No, I'm not. Yes, I am. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. If you need a new roof, but you're not sure you can afford it, no problem. Right now, Able Roof is offering no payments, no interest until 2026 for qualified buyers. Yep, that's the same Able Roof that's been voted the #1 roofing company in Columbus by Consumer Choice Awards 22 years in a row. Want more? Able Roof will give you up to $1,000 off a new roof, siding, or windows. This is a limited time offer, so call Able Roof today.
Call Able for the proof. 444-ROOF.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
This radio commercial was made to convince you to stop speeding. We can't use siren sound effects on the radio, so we'll use other equally jarring sound effects to get your attention. Like telling you that whether you drive a little over the speed limit or a lot, you can crash just the same. You could hurt yourself or worse, others.
I'm at the scene of the collision.
And the damage you cause will be beyond repair. See? We didn't have to use crash or siren sounds after all. Speeding catches up with you. Brought to you by NHTSA.
You're going to feel a puff of air.
Jong's Optometry has set their sights on staffing up.
Try the next line. Hey, Kim, can you tell our 2 o'clock we're running 15 behind? Sorry, we're a bit backed up today.
He needs an optometric technician to keep an eye on it all.
Where are the dilation drops?
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Let's talk about your sleep, specifically if you're not getting enough of it. If you're feeling groggy all day because you didn't sleep well, that is an awful feeling. I've been there. And if you're snoring when you sleep, well, that could be a big reason why you aren't feeling rested.
This fact surprised even me the first time I heard it, and that is as you age, your risk of having obstructive sleep apnea nearly doubles. That's right. You need to find out if your snoring is related to sleep apnea, because if it is, there's actually help available for you right now. Dr. Mark Levy is board certified in the treatment of sleep apnea, and he offers a custom-fitted oral appliance that effectively treats sleep apnea. I have been telling you about this for years. And maybe you've been snoring for years. Now's the time to get this fixed. Plus, most Medicare patients have little to no out-of-pocket costs for this treatment. So you need to stop putting it off. Don't ignore your snore. Get your sleep apnea treated by calling Dr. Mark Levy today at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. Get the life back you deserve. Call Dr. Mark Levy today, 1-800-MORE-SLEEP, or visit him online at sleepbettercolumbus.com.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good afternoon. I'm Matt Andrews. The Home Run Derby last night. Major League Baseball All-Star events in Arlington, Texas. Teoscar Hernandez of the Dodgers won the event. He's the first LA Dodger to win the Derby. He outlasted the Royals' Bobby Witt Jr. in the final round. Meanwhile, the All-Star game is tonight, 8 o'clock. Midsummer Classic coverage here on The Fan. AL versus NL. Orioles will start. Corbin Burns for the American League. Paul Skeens of the Pirates gets to start for the National League. David Bell involved in the game on the bench. Red Skipper on the National League side. Meanwhile, Cleveland leadoff hitter will be Stephen Kwan for the American League. This update sponsored by Dr. Mark Levy. If you're snoring and not sleeping, give Mark Levy a call, 1-800-MORE-SLEEP, or visit online at sleepbettercolumbus.com.
Most shows just skim the surface, but Rothman and I feel like the biggest story of the day deserves a closer look. It's time for a deeper dive.
Sponsored by Maxima Concrete. Visit MaximaConcrete.com today to schedule your free estimate.
All right, final hour of the program, Rothman and Ice. You'll hear from the Bake Show at 2:20, Baker Mayfield, talking about his little journey in the NFL.
Baker Bros, it's your time.
Yep. We started out the show with talking about this horrendous anthem by this country music star. I guess I'll put that word out there. I didn't know who she was, and maybe a lot of people do. She's been nominated for Grammy several times, and it was horrendous, and we played it. And she was getting roasted, as that happens. I mean, you sign up for that, and you fail, then you're going to hear it. Well, she's faced the music, as they say, for just, I don't know how many hours now since it happened. And it was just completely just cracked social media and everywhere else. She has gone to Instagram to explain. And remember when I said, you know, as much criticism as you can get, you should get a little bit of sympathy too. And she did say, I'm not going to BS y'all. I was drunk last night. Now, when you hear that, you're like, you've got to be kidding me. Was it because of nerves? Are you, why would you do that? This is such a big moment. And then you read further, and she says, now I'm checking myself into a facility today to get the help that I need. That was not me last night. I apologize to MLB and all the fans and the country I love so much for that rendition. I'll let y'all know how rehab is. I hear it's super fun. All right, probably didn't need the last line because you're trying to hook us back to giving you a sympathy vote. But if she's trying to keep it light, I get that. But this was her response today. What a bottoming out moment for her. And she recognized it, or the people around her did. And if she's making steps to move on and get better, I'm all for it. So that has come, Maddie, full circle in the last, I don't know how many hours.
Yeah, that's a first for me. This is a first for me, and obviously a very serious situation. So we wish her well, and unfortunately, what we heard from her last night makes sense in a bad way now because of where she was in her mind, prior to that event popping off. So, yeah, it's something that you don't mess around with, and, hopefully she can come out on the other side and, be a better person for it.
There you go. Probably the direct way to handle it and recognize why it went bad and how it went bad and fix it. So there you go. There's your update on that. We were talking about the situation with Brandon Aiyuk, and it sounds like, because Schefter's weighed in on this now. Just like Mike Tannenbaum, that when I asked him, how much longer will Brandon Aiyuk be a 49er? And most of these guys are saying indefinitely. Tanier said he'll wind up playing for them. Schefter now is reporting that the Niners have no intent to trade him. And so the holdout or whatever it's going to be, if there is going to be one, we'll see how that affects things. But, boy, he was the first-round pick for them in 2020. They really identified him. He's been the subject of trade rumors for a while now. There's no extension. I think Ayuk's gotten to the point where he's not confident that they're going to meet his demands and what he wants. And he wants to leave the defending NFC champs and find a new home.
He's been flirting around a lot with Washington, his boy Jane Daniels. So if he could handpick a spot to go to, I think that's where he would want to go to. But I just like in a situation like this, you wonder how big the gap is between the two. Shefty said countless times, he told us on this show, he said it to other people on ESPN networks everywhere, that they want to keep him. He just may be asking for way too much money in their mind. And we talked about the other layer of this too that's coming, is that what seems to be their quarterback of the future in Brock Purdy, his time is coming to get a contract extension as well. So I think he's going to be a Niner for the present and the future in San Francisco. I think that would be a mistake to move on from him. You just got to hope and pray that the financial part of this will figure itself out, because the football stuff's a no-brainer. The dude is a heck of a player, and they know that with him, with the guys that they have now, we can possibly win a Super Bowl. They've been knocking on that door. So when we get to next week, I think I saw earlier that the Niners the veterans will report on the 23rd. I believe that's next Tuesday. If he isn't there, then that's when we'll see how serious the dude is, because that's when John Lynch and company can start finding him by the day of, not showing up to practice, or he can pull the move of doing a little loophole and doing the hold in, that I'm here, but I'm not doing anything. I'll just sit in the training room or go play pool or whatever they got going on in their facility, which has been an interesting way for some of these guys to finesse the situation of being there but not really being there.
They've got Debo under contract for $24 million. They doubled down by drafting Ricky Pearsall in the first round, not just a throw-in. So this is going to be interesting. They also have a guy who catches a lot of passes out of the backfield. So if he's an option for them, we know that exists. So they also extended Juwan Jennings. Not a huge deal. So he was mostly their 3 guy anyway. So, and I'm not telling you that I think they should move on from him. I'm just saying that the bottom line is, if he's not looking to reset the market, which he can't be, then why isn't this getting done? Because, and the only thing I can come to is that they don't want to pay him $30 million. And that's probably what he's asking for. How much guarantee what are the guarantees? Do you know them off the top? Just for guys that have signed recently.
JJ was $110. I believe A.J. Brown was in the 80s, and I want to say Amon-Ra was mid-70s.
Okay.
CB can check some of those for him, but I think those are pretty close.
Yeah. So if the Niners value him, how much they value him, and how much they're willing to guarantee, I think this is the problem. I do. I think that if he is not willing to sign, and maybe he would be willing to sign, if he got $30 million a year in that offense, he'd probably get the numbers and be able to do pretty well with that. I would say $50 million guaranteed is probably what they're offering. He's probably saying, forget it.
That's way low then. Then I'm
$30 million a year
all the way in on with Aiyuk. If it's only 50 guaranteed, I know you're
guessing why it isn't getting done.
Yeah, no, I don't think you're wrong to going to that part of the scenario is the guaranteed money. But yeah, I'd be pretty offended if I were Brandon Aiyuk and they only offered me $50 million guaranteed.
That's my guess.
That's bad business.
Only because
by John Lynch.
His reaction today about really going all in on the get me the you know what out of here, then he has zero confidence it's getting done. Or they've said, this is it, best, which they probably haven't, because most of us feel like something's going to get done before the season.
The other side of this, too, AR, is that he's played almost every card that you can play for a disgruntled player in one offseason. He's flirted around with Jaden Daniels. He was on FaceTime with somebody, and one of the players that said, they don't want me here. And then you got to pull this card out. I need to get out of here card. There's no other cards you can play. You can scrub them off your Instagram and social. Like we see this every offseason from, whether it's a quarterback, receiver, no matter what the position is, they go through this cycle of making it known, in different forms that I want out of here. And this was the big one in his mind for he and his agent to put out there that he wants out of San Francisco, but I don't think they're going to budge, and they shouldn't budge. I think the odd man out of this scenario will be Deebo Samuel at some point in time, whether it's at the trade deadline or next year. He's not long to be in San Francisco. So you want to pair who you mentioned with Ricky Pearsall in the first round with Brandon Aiyuk, who's still in his mid-20s, and that gives you more runway as a franchise.
They both want to feel like they won. I'm looking at AAVs right now of these guys, or the average per year. So JJ for the Vikes at 35, AJ Brown at 32, Amon-Ra at 30, Tyreek Hill at 30, Jalen Waddle at 28.
I'm good with him getting 28 to 30. That would work for me, but I'm not Brandon Aiyuk. And I think the other reason why you want to get this done, if you're John Lynch and company, is because there's 2 more massive wide receiver deals coming. One in Cincinnati and one in Dallas, and both of those guys at minimum will be making 30 a year when we talk AAV, and CeeDee Lamb and Jamar Chase.
CB, check one thing for me, because St. Brown got a 4-year 120, but I want to know how much was fully guaranteed. Do you know?
77.
That much. Okay. All right. Well, that's probably where this is getting stuck, is my guess. Because I think they would be willing to get him into the upper 20s or maybe even 30 if he would take the less guaranteed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. We talk a lot of fantasy on this show, and I think the 3 of us are somewhat of wait for quarterback, except the exception was last year when CB and I didn't wait. Who was your quarterback? I can't remember.
I don't even remember, honestly.
Who was Maddie's?
Herbert.
Yes.
I did take Herbert.
Yeah. All right.
I waited and got Herbert.
Oh, because I lost Mike Williams and you lost a good target. Yeah, all that. So I think all of us are kind of in the wait for quarterbacks, but there are some guys that you just want to avoid, I think, at the position, based on whether it's the team around him or all that. I think the most intriguing one will be if Josh Allen is still considered a top 2-3 fantasy quarterback on his running ability without those weapons. I will tell you, if he dropped to a certain area, like how many quarterbacks do you guys think will go? Let's say we have a 14-team league last year. All right, 14 teams. How many quarterbacks went in the first round of our league? Do you remember? I took one, Hurts. Somebody probably took Mahomes. Oh, did I? No, maybe I didn't take. I took Hurts with my second pick.
You took Hurts with your second pick. I also took Allen as the first quarterback with my second pick.
So only one quarterback probably went in the first round, and that was Mahomes, I bet. Did he go late in our draft? He always seems to.
And he had, by his standards, a pretty meh year. By his fantasy standards. With Josh Allen, your floor is relatively safe, but I don't know if the ceiling is as high. The rushing ability is what's going to keep him, I think, as a top 5 to 7 fantasy quarterback this year. The guy for me that's interesting is Jalen Hurts. I mean, Jalen Hurts last year, this dude, he racked up 15 rushing touchdowns, as you know, AR, and 13 the year before. But that 15 last season, was tied for second in the NFL amongst everybody. And that piece of their offense, is that still going to be intact with Saquon Barkley and the loss of Jason Kelce? People still think their offensive line is going to be really good, and I absolutely think that will be the case too. But you don't want to put him in harm's way that much. I really don't think that should be what they do, because that showed itself that he was banged up last year and he wasn't the same guy. So you bring in Saquon, and the ceiling for Jalen Hurts, I think it's lowered. I really do think it's lowered in the fantasy world.
I told you yesterday, I feel like I can now move along. I don't need to reach. Now, if he fell to me, that's a fine pick. The one that I struggle with the most is Tua. Because I don't know whether I feel the same about the regression there, and there may not be. But, I mean, this is an incredibly productive guy that is considered a statue in the pocket. Like, he relies on that arm, and he's got the weapons to do it. He's never rushed for anything for me for fantasy, and so I'm not getting any of that, but I do get a lot of red zone at bats. I get a lot of yards after the catch, which is awesome with the guys they have. I mean, this guy led the league in passing yards. He ranked 5th in passing touchdowns, and I almost feel like I can't ask for that again.
You could talk me into, well, I think he could still do that. I think their offense is going to be that elite again, especially with who their head coach is and the weapons around him, that I think the production is not going to take too far of a dip at all. Like, I still think he can be highly productive there. But you're right. Like, you could almost talk me into having a guy like Kyler Murray over Tua this year, or even maybe, heck, I really like what Washington could do. Jane Daniels, just because of the other aspect of the game. I always say it's like getting a player and a half when you get that Russian quarterback that can do a little bit of BOFF there. So Tua, look, in the real world, the numbers will look good, but you get more fantasy juice with some other guys, and I'd probably take Kyler and Jane Daniels over him, maybe even Caleb Williams.
Yes, I feel like from a fantasy standpoint, that makes sense. I'd almost take him over Purdy, the 3 guys you mentioned.
Yeah, probably so.
Yep.
Probably, yeah.
All right, we'll come back. Baker Mayfield, one big regret from his time with the Browns. You'll hear it. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
We've been your Jackets flagship station since day one. All the goals, all the action, all the memories. Your home for the Columbus Blue Jackets, the Fan, Ohio sports destination.
At Metal Supermarkets, we're all about getting you and your crew to quit in time sooner. That's why our service is a cut above. You see, no matter the project, we'll get you to the right metal, shape, and grade. Cut to any size, ready real fast. And yeah, we'll deliver. Leaving plenty of time for the important things, like opening an ice-cold can of aluminum. Metal Supermarkets, the convenience store for metal.
Hey, it's Anthony here for the Bath Authority. You spend a ton of time in your bathroom, and if you're trying to ignore your old, outdated bath or shower or that mold and mildew along with the broken tiles, you gotta call my friends at the Bath Authority. The Bath Authority provides the highest quality bathroom remodeling products along with a world-class customer experience. And all Bath Authority products are 100% made in the USA, and they can be installed in as little as 1 day by certified factory technicians. TheBathAuthority.com. A better bath awaits.
We've all heard the horror stories. Someone knocking on your door, offering a free roof inspection. Sure, sounds great, right? Only for them to go up and damage your shingles, cause a mess, and try to push a new roof through your insurance. Rather than dealing with the headache of filing vandalism claims, call a company you can trust, Newman Roofing. For 32 years, Newman Roofing has built a reputation of honesty and integrity right here in Central Ohio. They will assess whether your roof has sustained damage from recent storms or if it still has some life left. There's never any pushy sales tactics. They'll educate you about your roof's condition and answer any questions, giving you the peace of mind you deserve. So, whether you need a roof replacement or a simple repair, call the most trusted roofing company in Central Ohio, Newman Roofing. Visit online at newmanroofing.com or call 614-NEW-ROOF. That's 614-NEW-ROOF. Don't just get a new roof. Get a Newman roof.
Common Man and T-Bone.
You didn't get candy when you were a kid at a parade?
No, I didn't go to parades. Are you kidding? Hey, I'm walking down the street. Come on out and watch me. It's stupid. I hate parades.
Yeah. Common Man and T-Bone.
Sponsored by the Hinderer Motor Company.
Weekdays 3 to 6 on the Fan.
She posted about us just now.
Celebrities can't get enough of Bianna's bespoke skincare line.
She has 147 million followers. How do we monetize?
She needs a social media associate to help her with the hype.
We should repost this. Do we need a hashtag?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Raid wants to know, what would you do if you could confidently face every day knowing you and your loved ones are protected? Would you sing along to your favorite song at the top of your lungs? Turn off the GPS and let your heart do the guiding. Go to the drive-thru and order one of everything. Feel the buzz of confidence of knowing you are protected with 65 years of insect science in your hands. Raid. Protection for everyone.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy houses as is fast for cash. Call me today for an all-cash offer on any of your properties, and we can close within days at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Do you own a property that's outdated and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, I'll buy it. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Would it be convenient for you if you could simply take what you wanted and leave the rest behind? Great, I'll buy it. I buy vacant properties, inherited homes, divorce situations, death in the family, apartment buildings, rental portfolios. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Call TurboTrack Realty today for an all-cash offer and speak with one of our friendly staff members at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Today, look for partly sunny skies, along with some late-day showers. The high will be 91. Going into tonight, you drop down to about 71. We'll be looking at mostly cloudy skies overnight. Tomorrow, look for widespread showers and storms with a high of 79. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with your 10 TV weather impact forecast on 97.1 The Fan.
Bet365 is the exclusive online sportsbook of Rothman and Ice. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365.
Rothman and Ice present Pre-Snap Reads.
Sponsored by the Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
All right, a little Bet365 time.
Because at Bet365, ladies and gentlemen, we don't do ordinary. You know that by now, and you can see for yourself when you sign up today and get $150 in bonus bets when you bet just $5.
So I like to back Paul Skeens tonight. You just don't know how much he's going to pitch. I mean, is this a one-inning deal? Can he strike out two guys?
The Pirates manager and front office are like, get him the heck out of there after the first.
Can he get me two strikeouts?
I'm looking at a boost over at Bet365, and it's 2+ strikeouts for Paul Skeens, and no runs in the bottom of the first inning. Here's what he's going up against. So if you're a Cleveland Guardian fan, you want to be locked in right away because Steven Kwan is leading off for the American League. And then it's Gunnar Henderson, Juan Soto, and Aaron Judge. And I'm praying to the baseball gods, please somehow, some way, let us get Paul Skeens and Aaron Judge going at each other. I'm not going to complain too much about Gunnar Henderson and Juan Soto, but we want to see the titans of the sport getting after each other, and we deserve Skeens versus Judge. But I do like that boost over at Bet365, plus 200 right now, same game parlay, 2+ strikeouts for Paul Skeens and no runs in the bottom of the first.
I think we're good because I like the two strikeouts at plus 128. And then you add it to the no runs because it's kind of correlated. And so I'll make that tandem jump with you.
And let's just zoom out for a second and think about what we're really seeing here. This kid was pitching at LSU last year, and here he is starting the All-Star game. Like, it's unbelievable how good this dude is. And now he gets to take on some of the best for the American League. Make sure you're tuned in right away for the All-Star game tonight. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Bet365 is the official sports betting partner of the Cleveland Guardians. Download the Bet365 app today. 21 plus only, must be present in Ohio. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
And may the odds be ever in your favor.
Man, I was just pulling for him to get called up for so long, and here we are. And now he's starting the All-Star game.
That's crazy. Like I remember,
awesome.
I watch a ton of college baseball. I just remember watching him pitch down in the box, as they call it at LSU, and it's like, yeah, he's dominating college kids. You just never know how it's going to translate. It's translated right away. He's a freak of nature out there. He really is, and my Redlegs got to deal with him for years to come. Fun times coming our way. Fun times.
Baker Mayfield. His little journey has been a pretty good one. He's come back. He's got a second and third act. This is a guy who made the Pro Bowl last year, and we know he's one of one, right? Overall number 1 draft pick in 2018. So I'm not calling him some sort of Cinderella here. He was supposed to live up to a certain aspect of this, and when he transferred from, you go back to college, speaking of college, transferred from Texas Tech to Oklahoma after his freshman year. And then he filed that appeal with the NCAA to allow him to be eligible to play immediately at Oklahoma on the basis that he was a walk-on and not a scholarship player at Tech. It was just a wild story. And so the transfer rules that apply to scholarship players, shouldn't apply to him. It was a nice little run at it. I remember the NCAA denied that appeal. He didn't meet the criteria in a certain way. But he's never really taken no for an answer as far as what he thinks he can be. CB set this up for me. Baker Mayfield. This was on the Pardon My Take show.
Sure was, the Barstool Sports Show, and pretty much was a little bit of a, in hindsight discussion. Maybe he would have gotten the procedure on his shoulder when he heard it at first.
The last year in Cleveland, as banged up as I was, looking back, everything, I truly believe everything happens for a reason. Played through injuries and whatnot, and I wouldn't change it now, obviously, but in the midst of it, should I have probably gotten surgery and sat out? Yeah, probably. But you know what? I wouldn't change it. Yeah. And so it got me to this point, and I learned a lot of lessons about, quite honestly, how damn stubborn I am. Yeah. But then getting to LA was that started I needed, and then going to Tampa last year and just trying to meet everybody, get that chemistry going, and it's a great spot. Yeah. I understand why people want to be there.
I remember when it was happening with the Browns, we were saying it at the time. We're Baker's toughness is actually hurting him because he's so hurt, but he's still out there. And then everyone's like, "Oh, Baker sucks." It's dude, he's so hurt.
Yeah. No, I like watching the film from those games now. Because after I got surgery, I had to reteach myself my throwing motion. Got with a coach and redid everything because I manufactured having an arm stuck to my body, leg was all beat up too. It's just so many things and factors that, like I said, hindsight's 20/20. But it was a stubborn.
He's always had that edge to him. And sometimes that could be a great thing for you. It can be a bad thing for you. And it's similar to the conversation we were having about Nick Chubb, right? And when he is available, is his availability going to be something that helps the team or maybe hinders the team just a little bit? But Baker's story, it has been cool to see how this has worked out, right? Because before you got to Tampa, you're talking about stops in Carolina and then a quick flash in the pan with the LA Rams, and he's turned that into a new deal worth $100 million with Tampa Bay after helping them win a playoff game and being top 10 in the NFL in passing yards a year ago. He's never going to be one of the top dogs around the sport, and that's fine. But he did show last year I could still be good enough that if I have good structure around me, which Tampa does, they got a Hall of Fame receiver in Mike Evans and another really good one in Chris Godwin, we can put together a pretty good product, and that's exactly what he did. So credit to him for sticking with the grind, not laying down, and saying at some point in time I'm going to find a home, and he absolutely has found that in Tampa.
Listen, Browns fans going to hear that and say, I don't want to hear the sob story about injuries and all that. I'm the other way around. I feel like he wasn't blaming the Browns for forcing him to play. He blamed himself. He said he was stubborn. In hindsight, he probably should have taken more of a individual approach and not a what's best. Let me just be a team guy and try to fight through it. Remember, that injury happened after he threw that pick in week 2, and he tried to tackle the guy from Houston. And so, if he makes the tackle and doesn't get injured, he's applauded for being, wow, that is my kind of quarterback. He's a Cleveland Brown. That is the guy. He fit the identity of the city because he had a little bit of an underdog feel to him. Undersized, gamer kind of guy. Played big in big moments in college and was going to prove everybody wrong and all that. And so it's one of those stories that I think you have to kind of sit back and separate a little bit. You feel like, you know what? He did give the team a lot. He gave everything he could, and he absorbed that hit and kept playing through it because he thought that's what a leader should do. And then finally they realized, okay, he's got a torn labrum. Let's have the surgery. I don't know how everything changes. I mean, he played through it. I guess you'd have to follow that up with Baker and say, well, how much more damage did you do? How much do you think this affected your career by if you would have just quit after week 2, had the surgery, what would have changed? You would have been out anyway, so you played through it. You played with pain. That's what guys do. I don't know if he injured it further, Matty. I don't know if he partially tore the labrum when he tried to tackle the guy and then playing through it, he ripped it worse.
Yeah. It's just, that type of injury for a quarterback, it's tough. And that's why the recovery for Deshaun this year is going to be interesting to follow, and how he's doing coming out of dealing with the shoulder situation, especially to your throwing arm, right? Because if you're a quarterback and you sprain an MCL or you got a sprained ankle or something like that, life is a little easier, I would have to imagine, than when you're trying to push the ball downfield and throw, an out route to a receiver, to the other hash and all those things. When you're throwing shoulder, your moneymaker is jacked up. But like he said, he retweaked some things as far as his fundamentals goes. Now he's down there in Tampa and found a new home with some good playmakers around him. And that's all you can ask for as a quarterback, is to have some dudes around me and let me do the rest.
In a league that's always looking for the next best guy, he's hung around. And that $100 million, $50 million guaranteed, that shows me something, that this league still feels like that guy has some decent value. And here we are. All right, we'll come back. We'll talk quarterbacks with our friend John Daigle. We'll get his opinion on whether some of the guys we want to avoid are the guys indeed to avoid. That's next. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
Unlike your deadbeat uncle, we'll never leave you stranded in a ditch when you were 6. This promo may have been a touch too specific. The Fan.
Contractors, builders, apartment managers, listen up. There's a new cabinet company in town, Choice Cabinet. Over 60,000 in-stock cabinets ready for you. They want your business. Call them 216-378-9313 or online at choicecabinet.com.
Attention, boating enthusiasts. Bennington Factory demonstration models are at Buckeye Lake Marina. These exclusive demo units are loaded with the features built to dazzle at shows and exhibits. And guess what? They're all brand new with a full warranty. Some have never even touched the water. Hold on to your mooring ropes because we're offering dock-shaking discounts up to $40,000 only at Buckeye Lake Marina. These deals are hotter than the summer sun and won't last long. Visit Buckeye Lake Marina and make your dream boat a reality today. BuckeyeLakeMarina.com, where your adventure begins.
More and more people are falling into problem gambling. Mary Haven's experts offer comprehensive care. You and your loved ones can count on mental, emotional, and financial guidance.
Confidential and judgment-free. Go to maryhaven.com today.
Okay, so that's the final price. Oh, an extra fee to drive here. Is that it? A knock on the door fee. So is that the final price? A 15% Wednesday surcharge. What for? Oh, because it's Wednesday. Of course. Can I get back to you on this?
Apex Pros, the pros who knows.
This quote you gave me, are there any other charges I don't know about?
Other charges?
Like an it's too sunny fee or my dog wet the carpet tax.
No, Apex always gives you upfront pricing.
No surprise fees?
Never.
No charge if your stomach hurts or you lost your library card?
Upfront pricing every time at Apex Pros, whether it's plumbing, heating, and AC, or our new electrical services.
I'll call you right back. Hello, other company? Hi. Me again.
It's Alex, the friendly Apex Bear. You'll never get a surprise charge with the Apex Pros upfront price guarantee. Schedule an appointment now at apexpros.com.
Much like a vampire, we need to be invited into your house. But once we're in, we never leave. Listen to The Fan on your Alexa or Google Home smart speaker. Just say play 97.1 The Fan and prepare to be amazed. Do it now.
Ohio, ready for some quick mental health facts? Let's go. Nearly 2 million Ohioans live with a mental health condition. In the U.S., more than 50% of people will be diagnosed with a mental illness in their lifetime. Depression is a leading cause of disability worldwide. So why are some of us still stigmatizing people living with a mental health condition when we know all of this? Let's listen to the facts and beat the stigma. Ohio, challenge what you know about mental health at beatthestigma.org.
Get so many great deals this week with one stop at Meijer. This week's hottest deals include Southern Peaches for 99 cents per pound. Fresh from Meijer Family Pack chicken breasts for $2.29 per pound. And Meijer shredded, sliced, or chunked cheese, 3 for $5. Plus, save even more with M-Perks when you shop in-store, online, and with every qualifying prescription filled at the Meijer Pharmacy. Meijer has everything you need in just one stop. Exclusions apply. See all the deals in-store or in the Meijer app.
Attention aspiring media stars. Are you ready to take your talent to the next level? Register for your chance to win the Be On Air Summer Slam contest. This is your chance to showcase your skills in a thrilling 30-second live script challenge. Visit now at studiocontest.com to secure your spot and compete for amazing prizes, including a 4-hour studio session, Shure MV7 microphone, and Audio-Technica M20X headphones. Don't miss out on this dynamic event. Be On Air Summer Slam contest, where talent meets opportunity. Visit studiocontest.com and sign up today.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. 2 things about me. 1, I love Valley Ford. And 2, I love cars. Muscle cars, classic cars, all the cars. That's why I love Cars and Coffee at Valley Ford of Columbus this Saturday. It is the day to drive in your vehicle and show it off. There's no fee for any type you have, so tell your friends too. Come on out and see all the great cars and trucks this Saturday from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Valley Ford. There will be food and fun for everybody, so come on out and bring your ride. Valley Ford of Columbus, Cars and Coffee this weekend. Be there.
Rothman and Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Dog friendly. And if you ain't down with that, this is Rothman and Ice.
All right, before you know it, we're already probably doing mock drafts. We'll do a lot of fantasy stuff in the fall. And he has established the run. He's our friend John Daigle, and he will help us decipher the fantasy waters this year. John, welcome back.
We're doing a lot of mock drafts at this time. Training camps as well in a week and a half, couple weeks, so it's all heating up for everyone.
I mentioned today, it's when you start thinking about quarterbacks, we're kind of a wait for it group here, but when you think about somebody falling in your lap, it's there. You maybe have to do it. When you start thinking about quarterbacks, Josh Allen was always like 1 or 2, it seems like, the last couple of years. Now with his lack of weaponry, and I know he likes to run a lot, but, how do you feel about Josh Allen and where he would go as far as the quarterback rankings?
So to back up really quick, what's happened in fantasy football this year is that even in our home leagues, wide receivers are being drafted earlier. And because of that, a position has to naturally fall since everyone's tripping over themselves to draft more wide receivers. And so now, unlike last year, remember, when we wanted to chase those results from 2022 and draft Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts in the second round, what's happened this year is that players like Jalen Hurts and Josh Allen are being drafted in the 4th and 5th round, which when you look at the players going around them, T. Higgins, George Pickens, Travis Etienne, Rashad White, regardless of what you think of that range of players, the fact is Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts, elite quarterbacks, break the game of fantasy football. Those other options do not, as our wide receiver 3s and 4s, maybe even our running back 2s. So to me, elite quarterback is the biggest caveat to note in your home league this year. And to your point, that includes Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts as the options I definitely want to target and just be overweight on elite quarterback this year in general.
Which of the rookie quarterbacks between Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels do you like more this year, a little bit more in fantasy?
It goes back to finding the skeleton key of fantasy football, and to me, that's within Jaden Daniels. I do believe Jaden Daniels will probably be one of my highest rostered, not only quarterbacks, but players this year, just because of what he brings as a rushing option. 9.7 rushing points per game. We don't even need to include his arm. 9.7 points per game on the ground for his career at LSU. Not only that, but remember, although we laugh at Cliff Kingsbury's offenses, in those 4 years he coached the Cardinals, they actually ran against light boxes, so 6 defenders or less, at the league's highest rate because of the way he calls the air raid spread scheme. So if we are getting lighter boxes for a rushing quarterback, that tells us that we are definitely most likely going to get Jaden Daniels scrambling a lot, not to mention already being a much cleaner passer on paper than someone like Anthony Richardson, who he's being copped to. Daniels, like just last year, led the entire nation in yards per attempt from a clean pocket. So we think he's a great passer already. So between those two, just because of the rushing floor, we think also the Commanders are going to be behind a lot more than the Bears, who have the 7th easiest projected schedule in the league. I think Daniels is quite clearly the better option than Caleb Williams. And honestly, if we look back and we see one of those guys outscore someone like Dak Prescott or Joe Burrow in fantasy, you would think it's the rushing quarterback. So I love Jaden Daniels this year.
John, in a deep league, and we have 14 teams here at our league here amongst the people that work at the station, how comfortable are you? Where do you wait for your quarterback? Like, would you be willing to wait to watch 14 guys get picked or 13 guys get picked, and then you can have your pick of the rest? How far do you wait for quarterback?
It is a tough sell because guys we would normally wait on, like Tua, like Jared Goff, unfortunately, when it comes to the fantasy playoffs, if you look at their schedule, it gets much tougher. Tua has 3 games on the road, including our fantasy championship week in Cleveland in the winter months. That's already really tough. Not to mention with Jared Goff, they have indoor games, the Lions do. Only one they're playing up until week 15. And then the semifinals and the fantasy championships, they play outdoors in San Francisco and again outdoors in Chicago. So really tough to wait on guys like that, even though they probably can drag us there to that point. So I don't mind waiting to that range, somewhere like the 8th through 12th round for sure. If you want to talk about like a very last round player or someone like we can maybe just pad early weeks for and draft later, I think Drake May is kind of the sleeper last round option. We're trying to parse through the schedule and see, like Will Levis last year, is there a bye week or is there a change in the Patriots schedule where we think they could implement May? And given how tough the Patriots schedule is to open the regular season, and that includes week 1 in Cincinnati, and week 3 or week 4 they have a road trip in that first month to San Francisco across the coast, and then they come back, and that's after a London game. I think week 5 at home against Miami is when we see Drake May, who, like Jaden Daniels, averaged 9.4 rushing points as a 2-year starter in North Carolina. So I also don't mind waiting, like you said, for a quarterback and padding for Drake May in the last round and just rostering 2 until he starts.
One name I couldn't wait to ask you about is Hollywood Brown, now over in Kansas City. You know, there seems to be a decent level of excitement over the year when you have some of these receivers go over there, Juju and MVS, because they're attached to Mahomes and Andy Reid, and I get that. But where do you kind of assess, or how do you assess Hollywood Brown and his fantasy value now that he's over in Kansas City?
I'm tying Hollywood Brown in with Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs offense, and it's just a situation I'm buying everywhere. And Hollywood Brown is going to be one of my highest rostered receivers as he's in best ball right now for it. And that's because, like you asked about Josh Allen and that section of elite quarterbacks. But what I'm really doing is I'm still just waiting a couple rounds and drafting Patrick Mahomes because I want to buy back into Kansas City's offense. Last year, it was a career low in points per game, a career low touchdown rate. And then also, that was the first time last year that an Andy Reid offense threw for less than 30 passing touchdowns since 2017 with Alex Smith on their center. We just don't think it's going to happen again. Not to mention trading L'Jarius Sneed, who they were literally a top 3 defense whenever Sneed was healthy the second half of the season. So there could be more competition, could be more shootouts for Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs passing offense as well. And I tie that into Hollywood Brown, who's going around the 6th, 7th round. So, yes, I literally just want to buy back into that situation entirely with the Chiefs.
Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to get picked. He's going to get picked early, probably in our league. And I'm just curious to get your feeling on if that's the right thing to do. And how high would you take Marvin Harrison Jr.?
I like Marvin Harrison Jr. I don't mind him mid-second. He's probably going to go around Devante Adams and Chris Olave. But to me, I still think waiting and arbitraging him, because I think Malik Neighbors is who we think Marvin Harrison Jr. could be in year 1. It's a little bit worrisome because Marvin Harrison Jr. at least has the target competition, regardless of what we think of him as a player. And I think he's going to be a superb rookie and a superb player in the NFL. But he still has Trey McBride to fight around and other options from Kyler Murray, who does, again, run the ball on those dropbacks sometimes. Whereas Neighbors has absolutely no one to compete with. Not only that, but Neighbors showed he's more than a slot receiver his last 2 years in college, as a 19-year-old even, leading the SEC of all conferences in catches, and last year earning a 32% target share at 20 years old. The dude, all he does is earn targets, and now there's no one to fight for those targets around him. So, honestly, I don't have much Marvin Harrison Jr. in early drafts, and it's solely because waiting another round for Malik Neighbors has been my preferred priority.
Well done, my man. You know we'll be ringing you up soon before the draft, so thank you for the primer, and we'll get to work on our mocks. Thanks, John.
Always great to do it, and let's talk about another position next time.
No doubt. John Daigle with us. Well, we hit receivers and quarterbacks. Yeah. And you know what? He kind of led us that way only because everyone, he said right off the beginning, I think he may have steered me off because, I always like to go running back. And he said, well, no, everyone's going after the big-name receiver early on. And unless it's CMC, it's all receivers after that.
Seems like the trend has absolutely flipped. That Kansas City situation, because what's going to happen with Rashee Rice and his suspension and Xavier Worthy and all that, Wonder if there's going to be a dude. They like to spread the ball around, but he's high on Hollywood Brown. I'm high on Zambezi Bay. And right now, we're going to give away a family 4-pack of tickets to Zambezi Bay because this is, quote, who's making waves in sports, and it's Stephen Kwan. He is leading all of Major League Baseball in batting average at .352. He is leading off for the American League tonight.
He's
in the All-Star
30
game.
to 1 to win the MVP.
I don't know how many at-bats he's going to get, and I think you got to hit a dinger or two to probably be the MVP and maybe have some guys on. But he is absolutely who's making waves in sports. 614-821-9710 is CB's phone number. Stephen Kwan was a 5th-round pick for the Cleveland Guardians. Let's go with caller number 5. If you are caller number 5, you'll get that family 4-pack of tickets to Zambezi Bay.
Outstanding. All right, we come back and we tell the truth with you. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
Bobby Carpenter doesn't have a mullet, but he's knee-deep in mullet energy. Morning Juice with Bobby and Beamer.
Weekdays starting at 6.
The Fan.
Hey, it's Anthony from my friends at Germain Honda of Dublin. It's time to strike. 0% APR up to 36 months on all new 24 Accords, 25 Civics and Honda Pilots, and CRVs. How about a 24 Passport or a Honda Prelude, even a 24 Ridgeline? Rich is throwing it out at 0% APR up to 36 months. Only from my friends at Germain Honda of Dublin. They're on Sawmill Parkway, just south of 270, with approved credit. See dealer for details.
Diamond Seller's Wedding Weekend is back. Shop buy one, get one half off wedding bands, 20% off diamond anniversary bands, and special offers on diamond engagement rings. Visit us at Diamond Seller's Wedding Weekend, Friday, July 26th and Saturday, July 27th on Sawmill Road.
As a local family-owned and operated company, Newman Roofing takes great pride in providing great customer experience and quality product to every job they do. From the first phone call to the end of your project, they'll know who you are. Don't just get a roof, get a Newman roof. Call 614-NEW-ROOF, newmanroofing.com.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Let's talk about your sleep, specifically if you're not getting enough of it. If you're feeling groggy all day because you didn't sleep well, that is an awful feeling. I've been there. And if you're snoring when you sleep, well, that could be a big reason why you aren't feeling rested. This fact surprised even me the first time I heard it, and that is as you age, your risk of having obstructive sleep apnea nearly doubles. That's right. You need to find out if your snoring is related to sleep apnea, because if it is, there's actually help available for you right now. Dr. Mark Levy is board certified in the treatment of sleep apnea, and he offers a custom-fitted oral appliance that effectively treats sleep apnea. I have been telling you about this for years. And maybe you've been snoring for years. Now's the time to get this fixed. Plus, most Medicare patients have little to no out-of-pocket costs for this treatment. So you need to stop putting it off. Don't ignore your snore. Get your sleep apnea treated by calling Dr. Mark Levy today at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. Get the life back you deserve. Call Dr. Mark Levy today, 1-800-MORE-SLEEP, or visit him online at sleepbettercolumbus.com.
The Buckeyes are starting fall camp and we're tagging along. The Fan is broadcasting live August 1st through the 4th at Ohio State football practice. Morning Juice and Bishop and Friends Thursday and Friday, plus live weekend programming. Let's go.
Nationwide Picnic with the Pops presents the pride of the Buckeyes, the Ohio State University Marching Band. Don your scarlet and gray and join the Columbus Symphony for a night of fight songs, battle cries, Carmen, Ohio, and more. Special guest appearances include Brutus Buckeye and the Ohio State cheer team. Pack your picnic basket and join the fun at the first big tailgate party of the season, topped off with fireworks. July 26th and 27th. Get your tickets today at picnicwithapops.com.
Direct auto insurance is for uncompromisers, like Matt. When his old car insurance got so expensive, do you think he walked until his sneakers wore out? No, because he found savings with Direct Auto so he could drive instead of compromise. With savings of up to 25% on state minimum coverage, you too can stop compromising and keep driving. Get a free quote at directauto.com or a store near you. Savings vary, terms apply. National General Group, Winston-Salem.
She posted about us just now.
Celebrities can't get enough of Bianna's bespoke skincare line.
She has 147 million followers. How do we monetize?
She needs a social media associate to help her with the hype.
We should repost this. Do we need a hashtag?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Raid wants to know, what would you do if you could confidently face every day knowing you and your loved ones are protected? Would you sing along to your favorite song at the top of your lungs? Turn off the GPS and let your heart do the guiding. Go to the drive-thru and order one of everything. Feel the buzz of confidence of knowing you are protected with 65 years of insect science in your hands. Raid. Protection for everyone.
Want to know anything about the Fans contest, how to win, or what's up for grabs? Check out 971thefan.com. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Tell the truth with Rothman and Ice.
Sponsored by Twin Peaks, home of the 29-degree draft beer.
All right, CB, who's our fifth caller?
All right, caller number 5 for this prize. It was the Zambezi Bay prize, Brian in Grove City. And then real quick, I want to give a shout out to our Cardell Jones winner today, Tony in Columbus. New Ole Miss was one of the sleeper teams for the playoff.
There we go.
Well done, Tony.
Tony and Brian, thanks for listening.
Tony.
All right, so a couple of great national days of today, tomorrow that I want to talk about real quick. I can't believe that National Hot Dog Day is technically tomorrow and not on 4th of July with how praised it is and with the contest and everything. But it is the third Wednesday of July that fits that National Day of today. So what are some places around town that have the best hot dog?
There's only one answer for you. You got your own hot dog. Come on. They named a hot dog after
Dirty Frank's,
you
baby,
better
the
not
Hot
say
Dog
anything
Palace.
else.
The Roth Dog. Chicago style with a little bit of crumbled potato chips on top. Just a little topper. Yes, the Dirty Franks, my people over there. That's they've been so great to my golf outing and charitable, and their menu is ridiculous. Check it out. It's got everything imaginable.
So I'm going to hit you with a spot, CB, that isn't necessarily known for their hot dogs, but I think they have a good hot dog. And that's Five Guys Burgers and Fries. If you go to Five Guys, their hot dog game is sneaky good. And what I like to do is it's a bigger hot dog and it's split into two. So I go and ask for an extra bun. You get an extra bun and you get two glizzies out of this thing. So keep it on the grill for me. Get it nice and well done. But then I take it home, split it in half. You get a 2-for-1. So I think Five Guys Burgers and Fries, they're known for their patties and how good their French fries are and the amount of fries you get. But check their hot dog out. It's a good time.
Just remember, it's not a lie if you believe it.
All right, tomorrow is also National Tattoo Day. Now, I know some of us have some of us do not. If you do have one, what is the next one you want? And if you don't, what would you get?
Boy, there's part of me that, like, Odell Beckham has some amazing leg sleeves going on, and so does Jason Tatum. Part of me is starting to get the itch just to go all the way and do my left leg, CB. So I'm kind of crafting a leg sleeve for my left leg, but the pain that I felt when I did get my calf tattoo.
Talk about the pain.
That was different. That was different for your boy, but I think I just need to go all the way and start crafting a leg sleeve. So if anybody's out there listening that has any suggestions for me where I should go, hit me up because I'm interested, but I'm going leg sleeve.
Despite the pain.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to, what is your line? Through pain, through
pain will come pleasure.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. Where I'm at. You look like a neck tat type of guy.
Oh, just the whole, where do you want it? Just somewhere?
The whole thing. Let's get your neck tatted
Maybe
up.
the Mike Tyson around the eye.
Even better for AR.
Be great.
You got any hidden tats that we don't know about?
No.
None. Okay.
No. I mean, I could see back in the day, if you would ask me this question, when would you have had to ask me this question? Somewhere in the late 90s.
There we go.
I would have taken my first rescue dog, Bogey, the boxer who was a legend, lived till 18, maybe the oldest boxer you've ever heard. And I would have taken, I have a picture of him the I Got You day, and I would do that. Now, there's so many to follow, and now after all the rescue animals that I've had after him, it feels like, well, then you'd run out of room. So it would have to be he would have to be the one that started it all.
Yeah.
And so maybe he would just be the lone one there. So the Bogers would be the tat I would get.
And that, my boy, is a damn truth.
All right, today's fan poll, the question is this: how much of tonight's MLB All-Star Game will you watch? Will it be a little bit, about half of it, most or all of it, or none?
You know, I sit here now with those options, and I probably go with most or all of it. I think that's going to be accurate, but it's going to probably turn out to be about half of it. So I'm going in with a plan, but I know myself, and I'll wander around.
I absolutely will be locked in to when Paul Skeens is on the mound, pitching against your boy and some other studs around the AL. But I'm so hooked on this Las Vegas show, I can't stop watching it. Once I start, I cannot stop. So I'll probably do about half the game. I'll watch Skeens, and then I'll have it recorded on the DVR, and then I'll scan through, maybe an hour after that, and then I'll probably watch the remaining 4 to 5 innings. So probably about half of it, CB.
Why you always lying?
All right, no one wants to draft the Julio Jones on the Titans in your fantasy draft. That is the older wide receiver that falls off a cliff very fast and you don't see it coming. Or maybe you do, and it comes quicker than even you could imagine. But looking at some guys, there's a lot of popular names in fantasy football over the years that are now getting to that age 30 or over the cliff of age 30 and their wide receiver years. Looking at the group of guys that would fit that criteria, which wide receiver are you avoiding at all costs?
Ooh, see, I don't know if I'm avoiding this guy at all costs, CB, but I am scared. I am scared because I don't know what the pecking order is going to be down in Houston. And CJ has great chemistry with Nico Collins and Tank Dell. And it's one of those situations to where I think their real-life product, talking to the Houston Texans, will be really good because I think their offense is going to be awesome. But Stephon Diggs scares me just a little bit because I don't know if he's going to be the guy down there because it seems like they have 3 guys. So I'm going Diggs.
It's probably the right answer. You say they got to be over a certain age?
I would say probably around the 30-year mark. And no, Matt, that's a great choice. I saw the statistics on average yards per route run for him. When it's 2 guys or less out at receiver versus a 3 wide receiver set, it's staggering the difference.
Okay.
So if they're going to have Tank Dell and Nico Collins on the field with them at the same time, the trend doesn't look good.
Well, you got
probably going to go Keenan Allen. Just from injury history, unsure about the rookie quarterback, other options, cold weather city. That's probably now. I didn't name a guy that's going to be drafted that high, but you talk about like a veteran guy that people have counted on over the years. I think I'll sit this one out on Keenan Allen.
The truth shall set you free.
We had Phil Steele on, the master of college football. We had John Daigle talking fantasy football. Mike Tannenbaum with some NFL chatter. If you missed those interviews, wherever you get your podcast, type in Rothman and Ice. Those interviews and everything else will be waiting for you. And subscribe to the podcast as well. And coming up on Common Man and T-Bone, apparently Timmy made a big-time purchase that Mike's going to yell at him about. So you can look forward to that.
I can tease that for you. He's been out there kind of making love to it for the last 4 hours.
Wow.
So that's your tease. Enjoy your afternoon. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
If you miss a live show, you can catch the podcast. If you miss the podcast, our hosts have volunteered to have dinner with you.
Ma, the meatloaf!
The Fan. This is a Fan Action Update.
Your Big Ten Action Update. The Michigan Wolverines have the 4th best odds to win the Big Ten this year at 7-1. Michigan has the 11th best odds to win the national championship at 25-1. The Wolverines' season win total is at 8.5 games, with Michigan's non-conference schedule, including Fresno State, Texas, and Arkansas State. And Michigan is plus 118 to make the 12-team college football playoff. For your Action Update, I'm Scotty Vegas.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. We believe that every sport should be epic. Every home run, every hit, every inning, every play. From the moments that are legendary to the ones that fly under the radar.
See for yourself when you sign up today and get $150 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. 21 plus only, must be present in Ohio. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply.
Get your air conditioner fixed fast. Call Care Heating and Cooling, 1-800-COOLING. Now at UDF, buy 3 everyday favorites with UDrive Plus to quickly stack an extra 20 cents in gas savings. That includes drinks like Coke and Sprite, Pepsi, and Mountain Dew. And that adds up. UDF, made for you. Specially marked products with an opted-in UDrive account.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. If you need a new roof but you're not sure you can afford it, no problem. Right now, Able Roof is offering no payments, no interest until 2026 for qualified buyers. Yep, that's the same Able Roof that's been voted the #1 roofing company in Columbus by Consumer Choice Awards 22 years in a row. Want more? Able Roof will give you up to $1,000 off a new roof, siding, or windows. This is a limited time offer, so call Able Roof today.
Call Able for the proof. 444 roof.
Hey, it's Anthony here, and over the years, I've tried to stay in the fight, keep playing, but every now and then, something gets me, shoulder pain, a knee tweak, a recent bout of golfer's elbow. When the weekend warrior injuries happen, the first call I make is to the specialists at Orthopedic One. I don't mess around. I want the #1 ranked place for orthopedics in Ohio. They've earned the right to be called Central Ohio's most trusted team of orthopedic experts. Get started at orthopedic1.com. No referral needed, but if you want one, I got you.
This radio commercial was made to convince you to stop speeding. We can't use siren sound effects on the radio, so we'll use other equally jarring sound effects to get your attention. Like telling you that whether you drive a little over the speed limit or a lot, you can crash just the same. You could hurt yourself or worse, others.
I'm at the scene of the collision.
And the damage you cause will be beyond repair. See? We didn't have to use crash or siren sounds after all. Speeding catches up with you. Brought to you by NHTSA.
Hey, it's Anthony Rothman. Help me get the MLS All-Star Game party started at Rally House in Reynoldsburg for a special event this Sunday. I'll be there 10 to noon. Meet former crew player Alejandro Moreno for a picture and autograph from 1 to 2. Even get a special MLS house-branded rally towel as a gift with purchase for the first 150 customers starting right at high noon. It's all this Sunday. Rally House is much more than just another sports store. Located in the shops at East Broad in Reynoldsburg, show your